Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here with session number 13 of our D&D 5e campaign titled Evermore le Masquerade. This takes place in a homebrew world of mine called Rostveen that is heavily based on the Baroque periods of Spain, France, Venice, and a little bit of Orlais from the Dragon Age series kind of sprinkled in there. Tonight's episode, session number 13, is titled Stable Concubines. So, last session was a little rough, but everyone lived. And so I'm really excited to kind of see what direction things are going to kind of head in now, as we kind of rejoin these characters on the tail end of some developments. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I do at the beginning of all of my games, and that is to warn you about the language and the subject matter present in this game. If foul language or immature humor, or very mature subject matter are things that bother you, then this is not a good game for you to watch. Particularly this game, while there will not be any explicit sex, we're going to toe the line about as close as we can, as it is kind of a large part of this particular setting. And if that kind of thing makes you squeamish, well, there's plenty of other content on the channel for you to check out. But until we get started, I'm going to pass things over to my players now so that they can introduce themselves, tell you where you may be able to find them on the internet, and what they might have going on. So we are going to start with Kenya.
You drag that out on purpose because you know the anxiety it pulls from me every time. Hey, I'm Kenya, Acerson on the Twitters and on the Twitches. I really just run my game once a week on Sundays in the morning. So, if you're bored on Sunday morning, having a cup of coffee or something, come on over, hang out, chill for a bit. It's quite the hoot. I am playing Vera Mariana Wynn Messinero, who is the lady, the matron of the fancy high-class brothel in the city. And last session was terrifying. I feel like she's quite a few pints low at this point. And that was vampires. They were bad. They were terrible. It was scary. It was horrible. And I'm excited to see where we go next because, this game just keeps getting better and better. And 13th game. We do this monthly, which means it's been over 12 games. We've been doing this for over a year, guys.
Isn't
that crazy? We missed like a session or two, so it's actually, technically last session would have been the 12th session, and we didn't say anything last session. So
my goodness, I'm sorry.
13th session, everybody. We're like lucky number 13 tonight. So let's keep rolling with it. Matt, the look on your face. I'm going to slide this on down to Matt, who's right below me over here, and take it away, Matt.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt. I run a channel called A Fistful of Dice, and I make RPG books over at Absolute Tabletop. And tonight, as always, I'm going to be playing Loxley LaCroix, who got absolutely wrecked last game. And, we all did, really, truly. And but we're all still standing, and let's see where the journey takes us next, shall we? I'm going to pass it off to Karen.
Wasn't prepared for that, but here I am. Karen, I am Myth and Gears in all the socials, and when we say all the socials, like there are so many of them now, and I can't even list them all. So until we find one, everywhere, Myth and Gears, that's me. Tonight, I get to play Cameron-Tiago Ruiz Gonzala, and while we hate vampires and werewolves are, not even werewolves, like just the were people are maybe kind of cool, but also kind of not. Liches are awesome. So that's all I gotta say. Oh, and it's Austin's turn.
Thank you, Karen. I feel like a Brady every time in this setup. I'm Austin. You can find me in the hearts and minds of every small innocent child. I don't know why. That's actually maybe not that. Let's reverse that. You can edit this out, right? Cool. We'll fix it in post. I'm playing Guillaume, the rat bastard of the group. And I'm just really going to be trying to look for a place tonight to have Guillaume get to say, "I'm Ratman." And with that, I will pass it off to M, because M is the only one that has not said anything yet.
That's right.
The right direction. Yeah, okay.
You got it.
This directions are confusing too.
Hi everyone, I'm Em. I'm Dice on Ice sometimes, but mostly I just hang out on other people's channels when they let me. So I will be playing Sylvie Levine, and yeah, I agree. Vampires are out, liches are in. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Liches be crazy. No, we're all professionals, as you can clearly see. So if you're not a professional, just be very careful, because you can hurt yourself doing what we're trying to do here. Yeah, I think that's everything that we need to cover as far as our bases go. But I'm really excited to see what happens next. Like I said, we've reached a new kind of plateau in the campaign and the story, and the stakes, I think, have kind of been raised a bit, and so now I'm really eager to see how things are going to develop with the relationships and the characters that we've already kind of come to know and love, what it's going to do to them, this kind of twist of the knife. So I think if everybody is ready and we have no further questions, we can get this party started. Sweet. Here we go. There are times when even a dark truth is hidden from us, despite it having existed for so long, right before our eyes. This is not a fault with our eyes, but with our hearts. We perceive the clues as to this presence. We see glimpses of its ugly face every day, but manage to convince ourselves that we are merely reading too deeply into the shadows. And soon enough, we find ourselves surprised to be surrounded by a truth far darker than we would ever have thought possible. We rejoin the five of you as you have finished resting the evening here at the Condessa's Villa. It is the next day. You've all managed to get a long rest. And what I would like to know is, in the aftermath of this dinner party turned battle, what's next? Where do we find each of you whenever we rejoin as the sun sets, or the sun rises in the morning?
Lox would he'd probably wake up, if not pre-dawn, like shortly after dawn, and kind of wander the halls a little bit, and would likely wind up in, if she has like a library or even just an area with like bookshelves and stuff, he would have wandered into that area and would have kind of like perused the shelves. In doing so, seeing that his hand is still trembling from the night before, and he would kind of clench his fist and try to calm his frayed nerves. And he would eventually pull a book off of the shelf about kind of detailing like the history of the Justicaros and like the organization that they're a part of, like all over the world, but specifically here. And he would kind of post up in a high backed chair and just kind of be flipping through this book, and every few pages go, no, I don't think so.
I think this morning, early morning, Sylvie was much too tired after her near brush with death the night before, and so probably just collapsed. But she's going to find herself in a very large bathroom, and she fills up a porcelain tub with warm water, or has hot water, as hot as it can go, and just kind of sinks in to it. And she looks out. There's a small window high above, and she looks at the dark sky that is still in the phases of night, but slowly you can see the hints of morning as she dips her head under, but is immediately brought to the vision that she had when she was dying. And cold seawater almost envelops her again. And the smell of that salty sea and the smell of fear and panic rushes back in. And with a huge gasp, she comes back up out of the tub and almost hangs over the side, breathing hard as she grips white-knuckled onto the edge of the tub. But she doesn't leave it. She just stays there in this like hyperventilating state.
I think as soon as everyone had gone to bed last night and he had heard the last door latch, Guillaume had gone to search out the Condessa's library to read anything he can about lycanthropy. He has almost no interest in sleeping. I think he probably like falls asleep in the library. So like Locks, would you have been in your, like, where would you have gotten that book? Would you have like...
So I would have, any sort of library or like reading nook, anything like that, he would have wandered into.
Yeah. So I'd say you'd probably would have seen him like passed out with this giant book just like on his chest. And you might notice that like his hand is like resting on the book, but it's resting like a little bit back. Like he looks like himself. He looks like just normal human Guillaume. But he's like it seems like he's not quite touching the book, but it's still like being held by him. But he kind of starts when you get up, and he like puts the book down. Oh, hello. And just kind of scurries off to his room before you can say anything.
Vera, after the fight and everything, she would have She would have gone to whatever room they gave her, and I think she would have used a sending spell to send a message to Ella. And she would have sent her something along the lines of, I just wanted to say goodnight and hear your voice. I hope I see you soon. And then she would have just sent the spell back. There's probably an obvious tremor in her voice, though. I would say she's not like, because when she got knocked down, she had that crazy vision in red.
And I think that there's probably, not much in the way of a delay before, the response is sent back. And she simply says, I hope that you sleep well. And yes, we will see each other again soon. Very soon, I hope.
I think at that point, she probably would have stood in the middle of the room and taken her destroyed, gorgeous dress off that is now completely covered in her blood and absolutely ruined, and walked over to whatever fire was burning in the room and simply cast the dress into the fire and stood there watching it burn. And after cleaning the blood and everything off of her, she would have gone to sleep. And in the morning, and she wakes up before she goes downstairs and starts looking for anyone, Vera will get up out of bed and walk out onto, I would imagine there's probably a balcony of some sort in the room. And she'll stand out on the balcony and watch the sunrise, and she'll kind of stare down at her hands. And as the sun's rising, her hands will go from the kind of medium tan kind of skin tone that they usually are, and she watches them as they kind of melt into these old, wrinkled, kind of pale hands, and then they tighten back up into very, very, very almost kind of almost porcelain doll like white, and then they'll kind of simmer back down into a much deeper like olive tone, and then they'll lift back up into her normal skin tone that she always carries. And she'll just kind of sit there doing this and watching everything change as the sun moves through the sky. And eventually she grabs her necklace, looks down at it, turns into the room, squares her shoulders off, kind of pulls herself together, walks in, finds whatever extra clothes are in the room that they've left for her to wear. She puts them on and heads downstairs. Assume it's a very simple dress of some sort. And she slides it on and heads down. And there's this kind of presence to her, this air about her that if you weren't at the events last night, you probably couldn't tell that anything happened last night. She's pulled something that's pushing her forward.
In the morning, we see Chimeran at a dressing table. We see from the back really that we just like the red hair, the sun rise light is just hitting it, causing it to like just look like fire almost. And then as we kind of get closer, we realize that he's holding this silver snuff box. And on the top, it's inscribed with the words dreams. And he opens it. And inside we see two locks of very blonde hair nestled inside. And then that's at the point where we can see into the mirror that he's sitting in front of. And we see him for once without the mask that he's always wearing. And his face is so vulnerable. There's sadness just etched all over it. and he's just staring at these locks of hair inside the snuff box, and he gently touches when he's caressing it, and then it's almost like something changed, and lid snaps back on, and the chimeran that we're always used to seeing has replaced this vulnerable face. Immediately, the mask is put back on, it's tied, a smile is put on the face, shoulders are stand up, and he just gets up from the table and walks out the door with that saunter he's always got, the confidence, the I don't have a care in the world. And he walks out the door and down the stairs.
Okay, so where is it that the five of you reconvene? Is it on this morning before you leave the Condessa's estate? Or are you headed different ways this morning? You know, Mardival is roughly a week away. The population of the city is swelling. People are making their preparations and hanging decorations everywhere you turn. But please, go ahead. Continue.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I didn't realize you weren't finished. I was just going to say,
No,
I
you're
would
good.
think that we all would meet downstairs in
Perfect.
maybe not the trauma room, but maybe a different room that we find a little bit more comfortable.
Trauma
Yes,
room
let
two,
us
please.
let us break our fasts in the room where we all nearly died.
Yes.
Let's go to the morning breakfast room. I'm
Yes.
sure she's got one for each meal.
Let's yes, exactly. We find the morning breakfast nook, and
There you go.
which I'm sure is just off the kitchen, and we get ample amounts of coffee and breakfast things.
We'll say it's like a small balconied patio that's off the first floor, kind of overlooks one of the canals, has almost this kind of outdoor cafe vibe to it, very Bridgerton, sitting outside on the table, in the nice sunshine. The Condessa is there, having what would amount to coffee, I would imagine.
Vera would immediately kind of walk out onto this patio thing and pour herself a cup of coffee, or get it from maybe one of the skeletal attendants that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And she would grab some sort of pastry that's more savory than it is sweet, and sit herself down next to her and good morning.
Good morning. Did you sleep well?
Yes, as well as can be expected.
Good. After the events of last night, I can only hope that all of you managed to get some rest.
Yeah. The sun was pleasant this morning. Watching it rise. I haven't done that I'm usually up for sunrise, but I'm not actually there for the sunrise, so to speak. Have we heard from the others yet?
There has been stirrings in the house, so I assume that many of them have awoken, but perhaps they will join us.
I think Lox would kind of saunter onto the balcony at that point and say, and just kind of he would look and see Vera and say, "Morning."
Morning. You're looking sharp as always.
I'm feeling sharp too. Any good dreams?
Not that I remember.
And he would walk over to this just platters of food, a little continental breakfast that she has set out, and he would grab like a plate and like put some sausages and a fried egg on there, and he would post up somewhere, and he would have, you know, coffee in a mug, and he would look to the Contessa and say, any chance of getting some for this?
Of course. Would you like bourbon? Port? Rum?
Whatever's highest on the shelf.
Understood. And she kind of turns and makes a motion with one of her like skeletal hands towards one of these kind of intimidating butlers that seem to kind of all be standing around everywhere you turn in this place. And it very silently kind of turns and moves inside. And after a moment or two, it will return with a crystal decanter of expensive looking liquor. And it will come over and kind of lean itself, pull the stopper off of this decanter, and begin pouring into your cup, waiting for you to tell it when.
And Lox is sitting there, one hand holding the mug, one hand holding like a very fancy like two-tined fork with a big sausage on the end of it. And he waits, a couple hearty glugs come out of this decanter, and he goes, yeah, thanks, buddy.
He'll stop and just kind of like place the decanter lid back in it, and then turn and walk off with this.
I think that's probably
take a step out. Say, well, hold on. I didn't know we were doing this already, but I mean, make it two, I suppose.
I think also
that's
probably
strong. Yep, that's good.
It's also probably when Chimeran walks in, as he's just finishing the pour and taking his first sip, and Lox isn't paying attention to that tined fork with the sausage, and it is grabbed out of his hand, and Chimeran is like munching away on it already, just like immediately grabs it, starts eating it, like, oh, this is good, Lox. Have you tried this?
I actually think like you would have done it so slyly that I like Looney Tunes, like I bite on the fork and the sausage isn't there anymore, and I'm like, what the damn it.
I think this is where Chimera would be looking around the room too, and where's Sylvie? Has anyone seen her today?
I have
Probably
not.
Still sleeping.
Contessa says, as the large butler begins serving the others who have asked for drink.
You don't think she would have left, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Doesn't seem.
How sure are we, though?
I'll go look for her. And she gets up and wanders back into the house. And she will make her way to Sylvie's room, unless she runs into her in the hallway.
Yeah, I think you would run into her in the hallway. I'd imagine you're like turning into the doorway and it opens and she comes out. You see, she has, usually she wears her hair like up in like a very meticulously put together bun or something. But this morning it's long braided and you can see that it is wet. And she's wearing just a simple dress. Morning. Am I late?
Kira kind of starts when she opens the door and Sylvie's just standing there, and she looks at her and she kind of looks at her hair, and she reaches out, but she doesn't actually touch Sylvie's hair. She kind of just like hovers her hand over it and looks at her, and this is a good look for you. You look nice with your hair down. And she turns around. I found her. She's right here. I'm really good at this, apparently. And she goes and sits back down and nibbles at her pastry.
Yeah, when you look at Sylvie's hair, you can see immediately the strands of gray that have begun to kind of start through as she smiles without the grin meeting her eyes and proceeds to sit down.
So I have an important question I need to ask all of you. And he leans in and says, this isn't working, is it? It's obvious, right? And
Obvious that
Your
you're
hairstyle?
Oh,
Yeah, it no, not at all. You should change it.
you're like,
I-
okay.
it's
He
not convincing
grabs-
if you touch anything or interact with anything.
That's what I was thinking. I wanted to test it on you guys, but I knew almost immediately it wasn't going to work. Okay. And he just kind of sits there and like shifts the illusion into like a slightly bigger person with like longer arms and like longer legs. And like just a much more like fitting his new frame, tries to like shift the illusion into that. Like, okay, so is this better? Like, and he grabs the glass to like check. This looks right? And like the glass starts like slipping out as he's like still not used to the claw hands. Okay, I won't pick things up when I'm walking around.
It's sufficient to get you down to see the King of Rats. As long as we don't stop and interact with anyone.
As long as no one sees you or touches you, you'll be fine.
Perfect. And he just kind of stares down, like just 1,000-yard stare into the coffee.
Well, I guess I'll be the one to say it. So King of Rats to deal with Guillaume and then figure out how we're going to kill all of the vampires in the city? Is that the plan we've got going here?
Don't forget that we do have a party to go to.
Um,
I'm cooling on parties real fast. I got to be honest.
Jeremy, is this the kind of thing that if we missed it, especially for people like Sylvie and Vera, who, if we missed and we were not seen there, would it get noticed? Would it be a thing?
I mean, this is the kind of place where anything gets noticed, and people make all kinds of speculation about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would probably not go unnoticed, but it's just kind of up to you whether or not you want to, spin the rumor mill if you want to see, where it might land.
No. I mean, I can assume. Not sure about for the rest of you, Guillaume, you're a different matter all alone, but I know that the Chateau cannot, or the Castillo cannot, why do I say Chateau? The Castillo cannot deal with what would happen if I did not attend. It would be a large detriment to myself and my staff, and so she looks over at Sylvie. I'm gonna need another dress.
You see that familiar spark in Sylvie, lights up as she nods. This was with the.
This is like the citywide sex party, right? That we're talking about here, right? This is the.
Are you talking about Mardival?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like a specific party invitation. I was like, oh no,
No.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
No, we're talking
Okay.
about Mardival.
Yeah,
The
Mardival
party.
is like a
Yeah,
citywide.
exactly.
Yeah.
Capital
The party.
T.
Right, exactly.
I'm here
It's,
to
it's,
think
it's
Jeremy
like
would have
Mardi
just
Gras.
rolled with it if we had invented a party that we
He
said that we
totally
were
would've.
all
100%
invited
he
to.
would have.
I would have tried.
Because we all would have like Shazammed ourselves and been like, yeah, totally.
Exactly.
I remember that happening. I remember that party.
So yeah, this is the citywide big deal
Yeah.
party. So this is why that's
Exactly.
why I was asking
have to say,
about.
I've been thinking about this a lot, and if I'm going to be of any use to our group, obviously I need to have my name cleared so that I can appear in public again. It'd be really nice to appear. You know what I mean? Like walk into a room and then everybody knows that you are walking into that room and it is your room for those few moments. I digress. I think I need to see the saint and figure out how the hell I get all of this under control. That doesn't mean that all of you necessarily need to waste the week leading up to Mardival. I know that there are preparations to be made, Sylvie. I'm sure you've got a million clients waiting for you. Chimeran, I'm sure you've got so many men and women that you need to make sure know what you'll be wearing that night so they can find you in the one of the many sex rooms. Vera, I know you need to prepare one of the many sex rooms. Locks, I mean, dick push-ups, I think, probably. But in any case, I know you've all got things to do. So don't feel obligated to waste your time with the saint just because I need to be there.
So I'm going to ask you directly, Guillaume. Are you attempting to tell us you don't want us to go? Am I?
Or am I deafened?
No,
I'm deafened. Okay,
You're
that's
deafened.
fun.
Oh no, the worst
Uh-oh.
condition.
Uh-oh.
Huh. That's super
New
fun.
development.
No idea why that's happening.
We can hear him talking though.
Yep.
It's quite entertaining.
It's because he talked about cock push-ups.
Cock push-ups are the.
You only need
The-
one. One's all you need.
Just do one.
Hopefully, there's other people out there who know Tenacious D, the glory, and
testing.
Sorry, Jeremy,
Wonder
this
that
might
is
fuck
glory.
things up. I think I have to leave and rejoin.
Nope, no worries.
I have no good reason for this
Nope,
to not be
he
working.
can't see me currently. Okay. Cool. Uh-oh. Okay. So hopefully Austin can come back and that gets fixed.
It's okay. I have a split personality.
Yeah, I could adjust you, but then knowing my luck, the moment that I get it done, he'll be back, and then I'll have to undo it all.
Mhm.
I can shift you over, I
Technical
think, yeah.
issues, technical
Mhm.
issues, bringing all the fun. Do, 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 do,
Where
do.
is... So I had another piece that I was going to introduce, and I guess I could go ahead and do that now, or waiting on... Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. See?
Oh,
See?
there he is. Can you hear us now?
Testing,
Can you hear
testing.
us now?
It looked like a positive, maybe. Nope.
No, he looks frustrated.
All right. Well, no headphones.
Can you hear us though?
Yeah, I can hear you now. If I don't have my stupid expensive headphones plugged in.
That makes sense. That tracks. Nope, that was the
Boo.
right spot for Austin. Sorry, dude.
I apologize. Oh,
No.
God.
You and Vera were striking up a conversation, I believe.
Yes, and I did not hear a damn thing that Vera said.
Vera just said, Guillaume, I'm going to just ask you outright. Is this your attempt to tell us you don't want us to come with you? If you don't want us to come with you, then just say the words, we won't be offended. But otherwise, I would I'd like to go see the saint again.
Yes, of course. You're welcome to come with. I suppose what I meant is, I would be happy to have you all travel with me there. There's a good chance that I may need to stay for a bit of time, and maybe forfeiting some of the preparation time for Mardifal, but that is the cost, the curse I must now bear.
Well, then I will at least travel down with you. If anyone else
appreciate
wants
that.
to come.
We've literally fought and died together, so I think we're kind of stuck at this point, whether we want to or not.
One of the large, broad-shouldered, skeletal guards, butlers, whatever you want to call them, comes into the room with a gilded tray that contains a sealed envelope on it. That's the only thing sitting in the middle of this large tray. He walks onto the patio and immediately approaches the head of the table, where he delivers this to the Condessa. As you're all kind of talking amongst yourself, she very casually kind of takes this in her bony fingers, reaches down and just picks up, whatever butter knife or whatnot is sitting beside her plate, and cuts this envelope open, before pulling it out and opening it and reading it. And she begins to shake her head. You can hear kind of like the jingling of these ornamental earrings that she wears on the side of her head. I cannot believe this. The nerve, the very gall of this all. It would appear that our guest is in fact betrothed. This is the wedding announcement for Lavinia Strozzi to wed Visconde Marici Agneiase, the son of the Visconde that died in your shop. She looks at Sylvie.
This is the son that the Padre Primero got back into the family, right?
It is the same character.
I thought she was going to marry the Padre.
No, it was...
Seems we were wrong about that, yes.
Yeah, it was one of the higher ups of the Jarstcaros, supposedly. Interesting. So Padre gets the exiled son brought back into the family, and then the person who did not want him in the family is murdered in Sylvie's shop, and now the vampire bitch is marrying him.
Well, at least now it makes sense why she was murdered, or why he was murdered in the shop.
What could Lugarico possibly be doing? What is the angle with this? Show business.
Did we tell you how he died?
No, I had heard rumors of some kind of strange poison, but no.
He died choking on silver coins. And from what we can tell, they were transferred into him via a dart that was shot into him. Somehow acted like a container that injected him.
Well, the Agnayasa clan, the family, is silver miners. That's how they made their wealth. So more theatrics, it sounds like? To prove a point of some kind? Make a spectacle? But why? It's almost like he wants to be discovered, like he wants to be found out.
Boredom to see if he can. Because he can.
Maybe he feels he's so out of reach that he can just taunt everyone. The
Some
hubris.
useful idiots to get Lavinia in here. He kind of cringes at that thought.
No, I have the feeling that they would have found their way in one way or another. It was I who invited you here. He has taken my phylactery and tried to pin these murders on one of you for some reason. Why? Why play at this game?
It feels personal. I've run with a lot of groups and dealt with a lot of infighting and skirmishes between different gangs, and this feels personal. But we don't know these people. Well, not collectively.
Is there Guillaume, is there some reason that your family would be, since you're the one that's being targeted as the murderer?
I mean,
If you,
the only thing I can think of is like that if Lavinia got close to him, and I could see why she. Well, I mean, who knows at this point what happened with us? It's been so long. I mean, who knows who cheated on who, with whose cousin, in whose bed, and all of that. But we didn't end things on a good note, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's been sort of a rivalry ever since. It's just, it does seem excessive at this point that it's elevated.
I would call this excessive, yes. That would be a good definition.
Well, I will check with my sources in the city and see if there is anything else that I can discover, especially now that we know a little more about what might be going on. If you need to visit with the Saint of Rats, then perhaps it is best to go ahead and do so before things with the celebrations get too much more chaotic.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good call.
Then we should go. Montesa, Thank you for well, honestly, it was an absolutely terrifying evening, but the bedroom was nice. Thank you. She kind of chuckles and will.
She also kind of laughs. I apologize for the events of last evening. I certainly had no idea that things were as developed as it appears that they are. But I am glad that we are able to help one another.
I am too. And in all honesty, I mostly blame Guillaume for this because when he said she was a psychotic bitch, he never really defined that. And I feel like a heads up would have been in order.
Sure, I only warned you about her like literally every time we talked about her. But, you know, you do you, girl.
Vera kind of like brushes her hands off and puts her cup down right in the middle of the saucer where it belongs and rearranges her napkin next to it and tidies it all up. And, well,
Okay. So it sounds like most of you are ready to depart, ready to leave, as you kind of gather your belongings and begin to make your way that direction. Sounds like Locks might hang back for a moment.
Yeah, and before Lox does,
Okay.
the last thing Chimeran says to her as we're leaving is, he basically just turns back and says, "We will get your phylactery back, and I thank you for all the help you've given us and will be giving us." And with that, he's like, he touches the masks slightly and then leaves, like kind of bows and leaves.
She nods. And it's kind of hard to read expression on her face as there's a complete lack of skin. But you can see, you can feel that there is that level of compassion that you felt last night whenever you spoke with her. So as Chimeran departs, the Condessa kind of stands and kind of takes her cup, kind of moves to the edge of the balcony, just to kind of look out over the canal and the city below. She, after a moment, kind of turns to see that Lox is still standing there. Was there something that you wished to say?
A favor, actually. Though I hesitate to ask, you've already been so hospitable.
It would be my pleasure to try.
And he would approach and he would kind of hold out this like slip of paper, and written on it is a name, and then like a sort of a rough etching of what looks to be like a signet ring, almost like Lox put it up against a signet ring and like etched it with chalk or something, and it appears to be this sigil with a peacock at the center. And Lox would say, "The name on this paper is in a family that does not exist here in Aladago anymore. But there may be some who still live here, others who managed to escape what happened. And if this group is targeting me, they may very well be targeting them as well. If you have resources seeking this family out, any who survived, I would be most grateful."
So you are a member of the LaCroix family?
Well, I was not born with the name LaCroix. The name written on the paper is my family. The name might be familiar to you, but
I see.
they were wiped out.
I will see what I can do.
And appreciate your discretion. Nobody knows.
But of course, we all have things that we must keep close to our chest.
Much obliged.
She nods again, the long ornamental earrings kind of jingling against themselves. Okay. So, the five of you leave the via of the Condessa, and it sounds like perhaps you're headed directly to the Saint of Rats. Is that correct? Okay. All right, so you hail a gondola and are able to find your way through the canals of the city, once again approaching the florist's shop, where the curtain of kind of roses hangs down over what you know to be a hidden entrance into a portion of the underground beneath Aladalco. So as you sail in through this curtain parted with music, you find yourself in familiar tunnels and flooded places that were once perhaps dry land. And it takes a little bit of navigating, but eventually you're able to find your way back to where the small shore is of this kind of nest, if you will, this collection of buildings. It's kind of ramshackle and stacked on top of itself, and you see the place is teeming with people and were-rats doing business and going about their daily affairs.
Once we've gotten like into the out of sight portion of this with a gondolier who's clearly like in the know, Guillaume, whilst keeping up his disguise, is going he's still trying to shift back, and he's pretty desperately trying still, but after enough failures he has this like light bulb moment. It's like, okay, what I read last night is true. Sometimes you need to go deeper to get out. And he's going to focus himself on trying to turn into a rat. Just a full-on rat.
Okay. I believe we were using wisdom saving throws to do this.
Oh, that's a 16 on the die.
Oh, wow.
So let's see. Am I wise? I am not wise. If it's just straight wisdom. Oh, it's a saving throw though.
Yep.
So that'd be a 19.
Okay. All right. So yeah, what is it like as Guillaume turns into a fist-sized rat?
Yeah, I would imagine that I'm trying to think of what the disguise self spell, like, does the spell hold up as I shift?
I don't know. I doubt it.
Because like, okay, so what I'm imagining is like you all see this like illusory version of him, kind of almost like skipping frames, like falling to the floor of this gondola, and like turning over, like, and like twisting in on itself for a moment as it kind of shrinks down, and then just kind of disappears, and this rat remains. Then as the rat, I'm going to try to shift back to human. I'm thinking like, okay, I've figured this shit out now.
All right, so another wisdom saving throw.
Yes. That's an 8.
Oh no. All right. So Guillaume, you will all watch as he turns over, kind of, implodes somewhat, leaving this rat behind. And then the rat seems like it's almost like concentrating really hard for just a moment, and nothing happens.
You all hear the angriest squeak you have ever heard. Like, just this, like, and like, it's this rat. It just sits there. He just like sits there, like fuming. And he'll
go ahead.
Go for it. Go.
I was gonna say, Chimeran would turn to Sylvie and say, you might need to make an outfit rat-sized now instead.
Sylvie just looks at Rat Guillaume and just starts laughing. She doesn't even say yes or no, but and it's probably a laugh that just happens for way too long, like one of those like laughs that you have after something really stressful happens, and it just like is all emotions just coming out as she is just killing herself at this.
I think Vera would kind of watch Guillaume and then watch him get frustrated, and just there's a very weird kind of sympathetic look that she's giving him as she's seeing this. And she'd lean over and she'd kind of scoop him up and like pick him up and hold him. And she'd kind of do this thing, like hold him like this. So he's looking at her, and she just, you're forcing it. You can't force it. You're thinking too much.
I don't know if you've ever seen like a rat like shrug its shoulders and sigh, but it just kind of like it just seems to deflate in your hands.
She like kind of, you're trying too hard. It's not, you'll figure it out. And she'll take it. She'll kind of like put him up on her shoulder.
Yeah, he'll settle in, try to like find a comfy spot.
I do think that at some point Sylvie is going to take a bit of fabric and of course her kit that she always has with her, sewing kit, and just begin to cut out small pieces of fabric, and she procures a tiny little hat for Guillaume, and this one looks very similar to the one back at the beginning that was like feathered when he first walked into her shop, and ostentatious, and she just is going to place it very gently on his head.
You see him like kind of like move over to a place where he can see himself in the water as the gondola streams by, and then just kind of like primps a little bit, sets down a little bit more, like more stately, sitting on Vera's shoulder.
I think it's a definite improvement.
It is.
Rat glare. But all you hear is
Guillaume is trying to figure out if his paw has a middle finger. He's that's adorable. Okay. So, are you headed straight to the tavern, where you know the Saint of Rats has his kind of office situated in the back room? Or is there anything that you're trying to make sure that you do before you get there? Anything that you want to anybody you want to stop and talk to? Anything you want to do or say or procure before you speak with him? You're in Rat Town. No? Okay.
Do we see that little girl at all? That was floating around?
Roll me perception checks. Dice. Uh-oh. He asked for dice.
I got a 17.
Okay. Ooh, all right. 22. Anyone else? 9. All right. No? Okay. So Chimeran, you think you spot her at one point. Kind of off on kind of the side of the marketplace, I guess if you want to call it, kind of the big open common space. Kind of standing on like a partially collapsed like wall of brick, so that her head is kind of just above the rest of the crowd. And she's kind of watching you as you kind of are disembarking from the gondola and kind of making your way across to where the tavern is. She's kind of watching you, and about the time that you kind of look up and spot her, she drops down into the crowd.
I'm not sure Chimeran would actually say anything at this point as we're still walking, but definitely noted it.
Okay. So, let's see here. So you kind of make your way amongst the people and the were-rats and the various stalls and things that are hawking their wares. And you make your way back to the inn. Kind of make your way through. The barkeep kind of looks up as you enter and just kind of realizing who you are, just kind of waves and motions you through. As you kind of arrive at the office, you can hear the saint kind of speaking to somebody in the office in kind of a low voice.
I would like to snoop, please.
Okay. Roll me a perception check again. Or, perception or investigation. I'm good with either one.
22.
Okay. Okay. You hear what sounds like him discussing what hidden entrances that the family has kind of scattered across the city. And it seems like they're talking about which of those might be compromised. Which of them the Silver Sliver have taken over. I did it on the first try. I'm so proud of myself. Talking about which of those may have been lost to them. It seems to be what they're kind of discussing at the moment.
I guess since he can't do it because he's a rat now, kind of wait until maybe a thought gets finished or there's a pause, and then she'll reach her hand up and knock on the door.
Yes, please come in.
She'll walk in.
You open the door and you see a were-rat kind of wearing a hood. It's kind of drawn up close around their face. And he says, "When you know more, please bring me the information." And he kind of nods towards the door. And this were-rat kind of shakes. You can just see the snout of the were-rat kind of protruding from the front of the hood, kind of nod, and then it turns and very quickly makes its way back out the office door. Please, friends, come in. Take a seat. We'll just move this stack of papers here. And he kind of like moves over to a stool where he has to like shift a large kind of like stack of disheveled papers out of the way so that somebody else can have a seat. You are all very quiet this morning.
Hero grab Guillaume and kind of pull him off of her shoulder, and she'll move over to the saint's desk, or kind of get, within reach of him. And it's a long story, but Guillaume has, and he can't, and I tried to help him last night, and I couldn't. I don't know how to explain it to him other than to tell him to stop forcing it, and he forced it, and now he's in this form, and he's stuck. And so he is hoping that you will be able to help him.
Well, he kind of like sits down and he folds his elbows kind of across or one another, kind of, and leans on his desk, kind of getting down real low where Guillaume is. Signor Delestote, are you hungry? He kind of reaches over to like a small cutting board that's kind of sitting on the corner of the desk with a large kind of waxed wheel of cheese. He cuts like a section of it, and Guillaume, the moment like the knife like cuts into a fresh part of the cheese, like the aroma that comes off of this wheel is intoxicating. He kind of peels the wax back on a couple of sections of it and cuts a square before setting it down right in front of you.
Yeah, Guillaume's eyes are watching that the entire time, like just every little move of like eyes on the cheese until it like lands in front of him, and then immediately like looking around and like grabs it and starts just nibbling on it.
Well, it's when you are getting used to your new life, it can be difficult. Sometimes you will find yourself changing without meaning to. And eventually, you should be able to learn how to control it. But I can show you some techniques that have worked for me before, but ultimately it is a bridge that you must cross on your own, my friend.
He stops eating the cheese for a moment, kind of sets it down, and just like looks up with like the biggest, like saddest puppy dog eyes that a rat is possible of making. And then just hangs his head for just a moment and then goes back to the cheese.
There are ways of having this condition removed entirely, if that is what you so wish.
He kind of shakes his little rat head.
Good for you, he kind of like says with like a little bit of like bravado. It is always sad whenever there is someone who considers lycanthropy merely a curse. Do not get me wrong, there are times when it feels that way, but there are also a lot of benefits that come from being a lycanthrope. I'm glad to hear that you are going to give it a chance.
Once Guillaume has finished the cheese, he's going to climb down off the desk, and he's going to take a very deep breath and relax his entire body. And he's going to think very bipedal thoughts and try once more, hoping that the calming presence of this man will help him return to his human form.
Okay. Let's get another saving throw.
That's a nat 20.
Okay. Guillaume,
So
how do you nail it this time?
bolstered by by his unending belief in himself. If there's one thing Guillaume believes is true, it's that he can do basically anything. And so that, combined with the encouragement from his friends, I guess, he will he's just like I said, like very like you see his whole body, this little rat just relax on the floor and very slowly start to shift up. The cracking noises are more like popping noises this time. It doesn't seem as like traumatically awful as be going from like human to hybrid. And at the end, he stands there in front of you with this tiny little hat on top of his head, just resting perfectly. And he'll just pull that off and save that and put it in his pocket. Thank you, Sylvia. I greatly appreciate the gift.
Ah, would you look here? See? You have learned so soon. This is good. This is good.
Learning is what I excel at. I think Vera was right. I was forcing it a little too hard. I panicked when I shifted the first time, I tried to shift back, and I pushed it too hard.
I would like to call attention to the fact that he just said Vera was right.
I wonder.
Mark the date and time.
Would you be willing to take part in a small experiment? He says to Guillaume.
Oh, I'm a researcher at heart. I would love to contribute
Wonderful.
to any.
Excellent. He immediately kind of goes back to the wheel of cheese and like cuts off another piece, and he kind of brings it over to you, and he presents it as if like it's a holy wafer. He like holds it out to you. Please take another bite, but let me know if there is any difference from whenever you had the piece just before this. Here, and he hands it to you.
Yeah, Guillaume will happily like. Oh yes, it was pretty delicious before. My senses have been a bit heightened, and my appetite. And he'll pop it in his mouth and see what he can detect of this cheese.
And Guillaume, like you place it in your mouth and begin chewing, and all of the flavors are familiar. It's you've definitely, this is the same cheese, but it's almost like when you experience a very positive memory from your past again, and it's just not quite as savory. It just doesn't quite live up to where your expectations were.
Well, this is excellent cheese. I did notice a bit of difference that time.
Yes.
What's going on?
What difference did you see? He's like very animated about this.
Well, it tasted the same but less.
Yes,
It
boring.
didn't recapture.
It's flat. Yes?
Right, yes.
I told them, see? He kind of like reaches over and like claps you on the back. I knew I was not going crazy.
What's going on? Where's this cheese from?
No. This is what it is like, being a lycanthrope. You experience things in a different way, especially eating. I think I think this is because your smell and your taste are a lot closer than one might admit.
He'll kind of take this in for a moment and like kind of glance around the room and like lean in close and just whisper, is just curious, is there like a rat Mardival?
You see, we celebrate Mardival here too. We are all of Aledalgo.
Okay. He just kind of considers that like, well, if food was that much better. Anyway, I appreciate your help. Maybe I need to be careful about what I eat when I'm transformed. I don't really want to ruin everything for myself.
Well, I am happy to see that you have managed to wrangle in your new powers. I don't think that I helped, but I am certainly here to do so if you need in the future. Any of you. Again, you are part of the family.
Could I possibly have a little more of that cheese? I'm
yes.
sure it wasn't the cheese, but I think if I have some of the cheese with me, I think it might get me in the right mindset if I'm having trouble transforming.
He kind of smiles again. You can see, a few of his teeth kind of capped in gold. Of course, I know exactly what you mean. He goes over and cuts like a pretty healthy wedge off of this waxed wheel, kind of wraps it up in a piece of cloth and then brings it to you. For the road.
Very greatly appreciated. Thank you.
So we should probably tell you. Did we tell him already about Luke? About the guy we killed? About
I don't think so.
No, I don't think we did, because we were talking about going down and talking to the Saint of Rats about Luke and about the fact that we found the nest. But
right,
I don't
we never
think
got that far
had.
because
Right,
you
yeah.
guys had a Guillaume to deal with.
Well,
Yes.
we did tell because we came to the saint after.
No, that's right.
After I got turned.
So I
But
do
I
think that we
don't-
told them.
We did the nest after Luke.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
sure
you
that
got
we
bit
must.
while we were looking for the nest.
Yeah, we never
That's
actually
what it
found
is.
the nest. We found
So-
the way to the nest. So we still have that on our plates. But
Yes.
that feels like.
But I do
Okay.
think that the saint knows what we know about the nest, though. I think we've
Yeah.
gotten him
think so.
up to speed.
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
And there's definitely some connection with the vampires. So we should. Have we told him
Gotta
about
be.
the vampires? Because
Not
like
the new stuff.
Not
I
not
think-
last night.
yeah, I think we probably should because
Uh-huh.
We're like, now that we've got the Guillaume turning back into a human thing out of the way, got some news.
So Vera would probably lead right in with, so we should probably tell you what happened last night.
There's more.
Well, yes.
Very
Do you
well.
remember when I told you those rings that had been going around that had been engraved with that flower symbol, the silver
Yes.
rings?
Yes.
I knew the person who used that insignia. Well, it turns out she's worse than she used to be. And there's more going on in this city than just the silver sliver. Silver sliver.
Exactly. There's definitely a lot that goes on in Aledalgo, but there is not much that I am either not privy to or that I cannot find out about.
She's your ex, Guillaume.
But that's one way to describe her. Yes, I suppose. We had a dalliance at one point or another, and a few points. There was some mutual distrust based
We
in
didn't
based in
actually want your
infidelity.
relationship information.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we dated for some time, on and off. Like I said, sorry. She appears to be a vampire now. She is rather powerful. We've had a run-in with her at this point. So she knows that we're aware of her exploits.
And just getting married.
Oh, I see. Now, I was aware that there was a coven of vampires operating here in Anidarko, but they have mostly stuck to themselves as far as we could tell. But,
They're not anymore. She's marrying Visconde Marcisi Agnalasa. And there apparently are a lot of them, and they are apparently tied to the Padre.
The Padre Primero.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes. Mhm.
Yes. Who we think is part of the reason Guillaume is being targeted as the murderer of that kid in the college.
That is a bold accusation. To go up against someone in his position is going to be very dangerous for you.
There may have been a dress fitting at Sylvie's shop, and there may have been an opportunity for certain members standing in this room to break into Lavinia's house, and a mask was stolen.
You broke into this.
I didn't know. I was with Sylvie.
But of course.
Chimera's got this perfectly innocent face on right now.
Is there a particular significance to this mask? Is it merely a masquerade mask? Surely you did not steal a funeral mask.
It bears some resemblance to another mask we have seen previously, of a gentleman who attacked locks in the near the canals. You seem to be the sort of person who knows things. Are you familiar with the iron masks?
I am. They have been around for less than a decade or so, but they have certainly been making a splash here lately. They seem to be very accomplished assassins.
Right. That was who killed the man in Sylvie's shop, was one of them wearing one of those.
I see.
And now Lavinia has one hidden in her house. She did.
Had.
Yes, dear. Yes. I would not want to take that successful heist from you.
So this
Job well done.
This Lavinia, it would stand to reason then must be connected to the iron masks.
It does appear that way.
Well, yes. So Lavinia has an iron mask, but Lavinia is a vampire. The man who was killed in Sylvie's shop was shot with a dart that delivered silver directly into his body that turned into coins by a person in one of those masks. And
was the father of her betrothed,
yes,
who I assume now will inherit his lands and titles.
Who was also exiled because apparently he was just a terrible bastard of a son, and
Until
the Padre
reinstated him, and yeah.
And
see.
everybody in the family who didn't want the son back, everybody in the family wanted the son back except for the man who's now dead. And Lavinia has a mask. So,
Well,
And there's
And a
one other
list.
thing. We have heard from another contact that we've been able to make that these iron masks specialize in rune magic. When we were headed to the nest, there were a number of elaborate runes, although they did seem older than just a few decades. Or a
the
decade.
runes carved into the walls.
Yes, that held back canal water cleared sections. Not sure if it's connected. Again, they seem much older, but I wasn't able to find out much about them before I was brought down.
Yes, they are an old part of the city. This portion of the city, this entire level, was once at the surface of the water. Many years ago, whenever the lake grew in size and deepened, it flooded the lower levels of the city. But before that happened, there were some rune casters who managed to inscribe certain runes in the city, in certain areas. And they are mostly, what is it called? A wall of force magic. It keeps the water at bay in many places. It makes it possible for, well, for us to move in and out of the city unseen. At least until we had this problem of those who have separated from our group.
Do you know why some of the barriers would be different than others? Why some would allow passage and some would be hard walls of force?
From what I was able to experiment with, the hard walls, the force, the ones that you cannot pass between, are walls of force, that magic, and the others are some form of control water. It seems to be more of a holding it back with elemental magic of some kind. And those you can easily pass between.
Fascinating. That must be very powerful rune work to have held up so long. But this is all beside the point, I suppose, this fascinating digression. I do want to hear as much as you know about the ancient runes underneath the city, but I suppose this is not the time.
Ah, yes, of course, he says, kind of, remembering where he is and what's going on. He definitely seems to be, a student of history. You're not sure whether he can actually cast spells himself or not, but he seems to have an appreciation for just the city itself and its history. Well, is there anything else that I can do for you while you are here? It sounds as though you are quite busy.
we are. Have you had any further developments on? We're trying to help you with your problem, but aside from ridding the world of Luke, we don't really know where else to go. I mean, are you looking for us to run them out of the sewers from where they were hiding, where Guillaume got bit? Are you... We want to help you, but we need more direction on what you want from us.
Of course. To be honest, ever since you have reported to me that Luke has been slain, they have calmed themselves a bit. We are not running across them as often, but they are still out there. They have a leader, and if possible, I would like the leader to be dealt with. Whether it is that you put him to the sword or run him out of town, that is not That does not matter to me. I think with him being removed, that the rest will either come home or will flee.
Do you know who the leader is?
He sighs. Unfortunately, yes, I do. He was once a very close friend of mine. His name is Nicodemus Janer. Whenever he is in his non-lycanthrope form, he appears to be a gnome with quite a bit of a rakish air about him, if I say so.
And you don't know where we could, of course not, because that would make it simple, but
And my guess would be that if you met that much resistance, that you were probably headed in the right direction.
I think we know where we need to go. We just have a bit of unpleasant work ahead of us.
I'm sure between the five of us and any insight that you can lend as well, we should be able to find a way in that is less barricaded against trespassers.
If I gave you a map of the Undercity, do you think that you could show me where it was that you had your encounter?
Yeah, I imagine we could, between the three of us that were down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It may help us determine the size and location of the nest, and if that is the case, perhaps we can find one of our secret entrances, and you could slip in that way.
That would be good.
Very well. He kind of goes to the shelf, starts kind of digging through some rolled up parchments, manages to bring back a map. It looks like on the one side that it was, like a sea chart around the continent of Dappen, which is where Gerdes is located. But it has been flipped over onto its back, and instead is now like this pretty well appointed hand-drawn map of the Undercity of Aladalgo. And he kind of spreads out an area on the table and unrolls this, and you're able to kind of pinpoint where you think it happened. And he's kind of nodding along, kind of checking the landmarks that you passed, even giving some of their names as you kind of point them out and describe them. And as you kind of indicate this last place, the place where Guillaume was bitten, he nods. It is much larger than I had thought. Their numbers are growing.
How are their numbers growing? Do you think they're leeching more folks from your side, or do you think they're making new, well, obviously they're making new were-rats?
Yeah, that is what I fear. There are not many more who have left the family that I am aware of. People come and go all of the time, but most of the faces are still around. The largest splinter happened whenever Luke left. He took quite a few of the younger members with him. I was a little stuck in my ways, I'm afraid, and he took advantage of that. But it is possible that they are turning more of the populace. The population of the city always grows during this time of year, and they may be taking advantage of that. There could be more coming from outside the city who they had already recruited, for all I know.
How many would you say left with Luke?
It was probably close to 50.
I have a question.
Yes?
If you didn't have this group of opposition to deal with, and a coven of vampires started increasing its numbers to take over the city, would they consider you to be a problem? Would they, what's the standard behavior between lycanthropes and the vampires? Do you not get along? It's just this abundance of silver rings down here that the rats are using, and silver showing up inside his blood, and it's a silver based it's just, it's all seems so coordinated. So, and now you're saying that they're upping their numbers quickly. It just,
I have long suspected that Luke did not decide to leave on his own. As I said, Nicodemus had parted ways with me some time ago, and I knew that there were some who followed him, but it did not get bad until Luke left and took many with him. And I have always long suspected that there was more going on. It would make sense that this coven of vampires has decided that we could threaten them, because I certainly would not stand for their presence if I could spare the powers and the people.
This may sound like a strange question, but if Vera's what you're insinuating is true, that maybe this other were-rat group is somewhat aligned with this vampire, what would happen if a lycanthrope became a vampire?
Well, there are stories that we are told, but to tell you the truth, I do not know of any that have survived such a bite, such a transition between.
I think we need to do what we can to free up this man's forces, because I think we have a much tougher fight coming. But if there are as many as 50 in this nest, maybe more, even if they've recruited more, we're going to need a hell of a plan to be able to approach that with any amount of survivability.
I will tell you that if you manage to get rid of Nicodemus, I will vow to help you in any way that I can to take on the Padre Primero.
Yeah, Guillaume will give him one of those, like, arm graspy handshakes and say, we'll do everything in our power to get rid of him.
Back when I was running with a different group of people, we used to do this little maneuver, and we never came up with a name for it, but basically a couple of us would stand in front of a cart that was coming down the road and draw the attention of any guards that were with the cart. And while we were dealing with the guards, our quickest and our lightest would get in the cart and grab what we needed and then get out. Maybe with these rats, we could do something similar. A couple of us go in the front door, draw the attention of as many of the rats as possible, while everyone else sneaks in whatever secret tunnel we manage to find and deal with Nicodemus directly. That way we don't find ourselves fighting hundreds of were-rats while we're trying to deal with Nicodemus.
This sounds like a very solid plan, but whoever it is that is going in the front door needs to be very careful. It is quick. It is easy to underestimate how overpowered you can become when fighting my kind.
We tried to go in that front door once before, and I won't underestimate him again.
We also have reason to believe that there is at least one or two who have capabilities of the arcane.
Guillaume looks down at his spell book, kind of pats it at his side on its like sling of leather. Well, I've got a few things that I've been aching to try out since I read them.
This is going to be an odd question. When you come across one of yours, even if you've never met them, one of your kind, or even another type of bird or bear or wolf or something, do you know right away? Can you smell it on your own? Can you sense it?
There are some
pheromones
who live their life very close to the animal that they have inside of them. And for them, this smell can be stronger, but there are other clues sometimes when you know where to look. The eyes, the nails, the teeth. But if a person wishes it and hides it harder, it is very difficult to tell, even for me.
I'm wondering if it would be possible to somehow impersonate him or something to try to gain entry to his lair.
Well, impersonating people is one of my specialties. I could potentially try to observe him as a rat if I was able to. Would they notice me if I moved amongst them as a rat? Would they be able to suss out that I was not truly just a rat?
Well, more than likely. You remember the way the cheese was elevated in its scent and taste. When you are in your animal form, when you are a rat, it is that way for others as well. Sometimes you can smell things that don't belong on a normal rat, if that makes sense. For example, the hint of perfume that you have about you. That is not something that most rats would have on them.
I know, but I just made it before I had to leave my home, and I thought it was. I have a little bit left. I thought it would be nice. I wanted to cover the rat smell that was on me when I woke up.
Almost kind of like waves. No. It is lovely. It suits your body's chemistry very well.
Perhaps if I bathe with some unscented soaps, and I can forego my normal lotioning and perfuming routine regimen.
If you wish to blend in with the rats of the underground who belong to the Silver Sliver, perhaps you may even go a few days without bathing.
Guillaume looks horrified.
That's a good plan.
at the suggestion that he would ever deign to do that. And he says, only because he respects Armand so much does he even say, I'll consider that.
That's actually a very good plan. It would help a lot. Covering the scent. Actually, it would probably be very intelligent for you to not bathe for a few days and then possibly maybe go wading through the sewer a bit.
Armand kind of like wags a finger like, that's actually not bad. And then he kind of like, I see. I think she's teasing you.
Oh, no, I am, but it's not bad.
I suppose if impersonating him is important, I could learn his look and his voice if I undergo that sort of degradation, which may make it worth it if that's our way in. But we may come up with a better plan yet. I don't want to say we're locked into the whole secretly observe him and impersonate him plan, but I am good at impersonating people when I need to. And he just immediately like starts speaking in Vera's voice, only like, like, oh no, you're not, Guillaume. You're so obvious. It's clearly you. No one has your panache and flair.
Not bad, but you need to work on the attitude a little bit more. She's much more vicious.
I know, but it's always so much more fun when I make her compliment me in her voice.
I feel like this is something you do late at night when you're alone in your room.
No comment.
Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to speak to the Saint of Rats about before you leave?
Yeah, I had a private conversation with him a couple times ago, and I will bring it up in front of everybody here. But Lox will basically say, first time we met, I asked you to look into an individual and see if there might be some connection between him and these masked people we were dealing with. Rocatore. Did you find anything out about that?
He nods. He says, we keep a close eye on Capitan Rocatore. He is deeply involved in whatever it is that the Padre Primero is planning, no doubt. As to whether or not he is a part of this Iron Masks group, or if he has some kind of connection to them, I could not say. But if the Iron Masks are also doing the bidding of the Padre Primero, there's a good chance that they are at least in step with one another.
What was Rocatore the one, Jeremy, that the Condessa reacted so strongly to? Like that was the face of Ludovico, or was that the Padre?
The Padre.
The Padre. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Rocatore is the Padre's like right hand man, dude.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like head Justicaro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only question that I have is whether he's a helpful conspirator, like a co-conspirator, or a like fanatical dupe who is being sucked in by the Padre's authority. I mean, his portrait's pretty evil looking, but that feels kind of metagamey.
Yeah, I mean, like, the implication that the Padre Primero and the Capitan of the Justicaros are both kind of implicit and involved in what's going on, that would be like bad news.
I don't know how we didn't tell you this before, Armand, but I suppose we do have confirmation from our contact. The Padre, it's definitely like he is also some sort of ancient vampire that's been around for a long time, very powerful.
So Lugarico is an ancient vampire, you say?
Well, I mean,
Oh yes.
I don't want to get
yes.
into cataloging. I haven't actually studied the taxonomy well enough that I could definitively say. I need to know more about his lifetime. You see, generally for an ancient vampire,
Guillaume,
it would
Guillaume,
be sometime beyond
Guillaume.
1,000. Yes.
Guillaume.
Oh, right. We're not sure. Is the answer.
No, we're sure he's a couple
Very
centuries
old.
old.
At least very old.
And how is it that you have come across this information?
Like I said, a contact. I'd like to keep this one a little bit close to the vest, if you don't mind.
No, I understand.
I would respect your privacy and not divulge any information about you, and I
Very
feel
well.
obligated.
I see.
to my other contacts.
You trust the source of this information.
After last night, implicitly.
Very well. Then I will also trust your source.
Did we actually tell you what happened last night, or did we just say it was a messed up night? We were attacked by Lavinia, the vampire, and she summoned a bunch of other vampires, and we barely made it out alive.
I see. Well, I am sorry to hear that there was a threat upon your life. If they are attacking you openly, then whatever it is that they have planned must have been set in motion already. They are becoming emboldened.
If I know the kind of center stage show off that Lavinia is, if there's some large, dramatic, elaborate part of their plan, it'll be happening on Mardival.
And probably at her wedding.
Well,
What?
there is not much time, then.
What does Mardival usually entail, Jeremy? Like, does it... Is there some sort of like high point of celebration that could be that Lavinia could turn into some sort of weird ritual thing or something? Like,
So it's kind of the celebration is a week long,
right?
And it's kind of from the outside world at least, it looks like a celebration of debauchery, very much kind of like Carnival or Mardi Gras,
Okay.
where it's just everything kind of to excess. And anonymity is a big part of the celebration. The vow of marriage is kind of suspended for the week, and it's kind of whatever goes, as long as quote unquote you don't know the identity of the other person. It's kind of a fertility ritual, a celebration of life, and it's a very, very extravagant affair. It's kind of one of those things where you could walk to any house, any building, and you're going to be fed and have drink and just kind of exist for the week. There are some rituals that go along with it. There is a monarchy that is appointed kind of by vote throughout the celebration. There's a king and a queen that are kind of announced, and at the height of the celebration, at the very end of the week, they consummate their reign kind of in front of the public on display. It's a very unusual celebration for those who are not Gerdessi. And there's a few other, rituals that are carried out. One of which is that any who identify, who see themselves as feminine, as being fertile birth givers, they receive the blessing of Pelor, the god of the sun. And anybody who identifies or sees themselves as a seed bearer, as male, receives the blessing of Loros, the god of weather, as a part of this celebration.
So question, would it seem odd then for someone to choose to have a wedding kind of during that time?
Yes, a little bit. Especially kind of like on the eve of such a celebration. There are people who abstain, from the crazier aspects of the celebration for one reason or another. But a large part of society partakes.
Yeah, I can't see Lavinia ever having abstained from.
Yeah, in theory, you wouldn't know one way or the other because of the the anonymity clause, but it's always also like a secondary game throughout the celebration to kind of identify people, to figure out who people are. So,
And I mean, we know Guillaume.
Guillaume has dreamed ever since he was a little boy of being the king of Mardival. That's like it's how you have those you have like your real life dreams, and then you have those little but man, be so sweet if I could do that. That's his
When I grow up, I want to be
like Guillaume, if I could be like you. I just had a really good thought. How does the voting take place? Who decides who the king and queen are? Who makes that decision? Is it a ballot box and we get to go in as citizens and vote for who we want, or is it decided by committee, by the city? Is it someone from the houses typically?
Yeah, it's probably
lottery?
there's probably like a magistrate or something that is, overseeing that particular, portion of the festivities. And it's probably not like a super duper official vote counting type situation. It's, those perspectives, kind of come up and parade themselves in front of the crowd, and by number of cheers or, number of, coins thrown or something like that.
Classic applause meter.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It may even, fuck it, we'll say it's, it has to do with how many silver coins are thrown up onto, the platform or something for a particular individual.
So has this happened yet, or
No.
does it happen at the first day or right before Mardi
No,
Gras?
it would be like the penultimate day, kind of thing, because
okay.
the consummation and stuff would take up the last day of the festival.
So they're not
the day
king
before.
and queen the entire week. They're just king and queen for that day.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Interesting.
I like how Jeremy was like, do you guys have anything else you want to ask the saint about? And now it's 30 minutes later and we're like, so tell us more about what's going on with this festival thing.
I'm for it.
He's going to go back and watch the video and say, now, what did I tell them was going on at this festival?
Believe it or not, some of that is actually already planned.
Oh, I bet.
It's one of the things that I love the most about this civilization. It's just so kooky.
Okay, so the thing that we definitely want to go approach the nest again, but as a full party, not missing half of our strength.
Right.
Right. That's our next step, because we need him as an ally, and we only
Mhm.
have a week to, like, as far as we know, like, we're assuming a lot that, shit's gonna go down at her wedding, and like the celebration thereafter. But it feels like a safe assumption based on what we know of her being dramatic and basic. So yeah. Is that were we all on board with that?
Yeah, so are we going to be the ones drawing out all the rats, or are we going to be the ones infiltrating and getting
Well, we don't have a
Nicodemus?
few days for me to not bathe and make myself stink. I could try to shift back into a rat and then, like, take a swim in the canal, like, swim around in some sewage, because if we go back the same way we came, I'll probably be going through that shit tunnel. Which hopefully that would get some perfume off of me. I guess I can, like, prestidigitation myself, like, clean and scentless first, to just, like, remove any traces of whatever I may already be carrying. I want to smell as ratty as possible.
Not to throw another log on this fire, but you also do still have the list as well.
From Lavinia's house.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the one where
Yeah.
I think Chimeran only recognized one of the names.
Oh,
we should
yeah.
ask him.
Do we want to
Let's
show
make a
that to him?
We
Let's
told
make
him
a
everything
copy-
else.
Let's make a copy of the list. Let's ask him to find any connections he can between those people without giving him any, like, we don't want to taint the evidence by telling him where we got it, or, like, what the
Okay.
list is, because we don't know. But, like, if we ask him, like, hey, can you research, because, like, he seems like a really good information resource.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
really good at forgery, so I could make it even look like exactly like the letter in case there's something hidden inside the list itself that we are not actually noticed, but somebody else might. So I could copy.
Is it clearly Lavinia's handwriting on the list?
You probably would have written back and forth with Lavinia at some point or another. It is definitely not her handwriting.
Okay. Let's just give him a list of the names, I think, if you guys are cool with that, because I don't know, we don't know if he would recognize this in a bad way. I'm being very cautious, even with the people we trust, because, like, we've already given him a lot of information, and if there's anything bad about him, or, like, if he's on any bad side of this, I don't want to give him too much.
So this is the list that you found. It has a series of 9 names on it. They're all surnames.
Oh, we could start by asking, have you ever heard of the Shadows of Martyval? Do you know what that is?
He kind of furrows his brow for a second. Does not sound familiar to me.
If we gave you a list of names, would you be able to try to suss out any connections between them that your contacts might be able to find?
Potentially. Depends on the kinds of names that are on the list, but I can certainly try.
They're fairly notable names.
Very well.
Let's just write. Yeah, so we'll have I guess Chimeran, like, copy down a copy, but, like, change the handwriting a bit.
I'll forge yours.
Perfect. Yeah, it looks like I wrote it. It's like, why didn't I just write? I'm like, oh yeah, I can hold the pen again, Chimeran. It's okay. I've got my hands back.
I mean, if we're being cautious, Chimeran's going to go super level. If this comes back at us, it's going to come back at you.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. There's just a piece of paper with my handwriting on it now, copying what we stole from Lavinia's. Cool.
Perfect. Okay, so as you turn the list over, he kind of looks at the names and kind of nods and agrees to do what he can to try to see if he can identify any of the individuals associated. And I think we're going to go ahead and take our break there. So we're going to take a 10-minute bio, refill your drinks, kiss your spouse, smoke them if you got them, etc., etc. Yeah. I'm really, really excited to see what we have coming up in the second part of tonight's session. So sit tight. We will be right back.
Gotta go get cheese.
Squeeze. everyone. Welcome back to the second half of tonight's session. We are going to jump right back into where we left off, which is the group kind of now leaving the Court of the Forsaken, which is kind of where the Saint of Rats and his family call home, beneath the streets and the canals of the city of Aladalgo. So as the five of you are kind of headed back topside, as it were, what lead are you going to follow? Where are you headed next? What is the conversation like?
Well, the only way that I know how to get to the nest is the same way we went before, through the cobbler's shop.
I think we can get back there pretty easily. The trick is going to be trying to find a different way in.
Did he give any idea while you were all looking at the map with him? Did he indicate anything? Any possible other entry?
Yeah,
Did
if
he
you
give
were
us any hints?
Yeah, if you were looking for another possible way in, there is an entrance that he tells you about that Guillaume has actually seen before. There's a part of a false wall that kind of hides in what looks like an old archway of a building that kind of goes down into the Undercity.
Yeah, I remembered that. I just wasn't sure, like, that leads into the Undercity, but would we be able to find our way to the nest? It would be kind of the same process of following the rats and hoping they're leading us
according
in the right place.
According to Armand, for what they understand to be kind of like the outlying defensive places of what they've kind of come across for the nest, that opening would put you past that that barrier. So it would basically be an entrance directly into where they think the perimeter of their area is, essentially.
Oh, let's do that then.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to just walk down there now and be done and see what happens? Are you going to transform and see if you can sneak around and find a path for us? Are we...
I think we should all go in together, and as soon as we get closer, I'll try to transform, scout ahead, and then come back with whatever information I'm able to glean.
So are we not going to do this plan of distracting in the front while we sneak in?
I like Vox's plan because I really don't want to go toe to toe with 50 to 100 ratlings.
Absolutely. No, I think we should. I think it just might be beneficial to try to get a lay of the land first. And if we can find what Nicodemus looks like, we could impersonate him if that's an easier way to get through some of the doors.
Then it sounds like our next step is to back down into the sewers, see what's up.
Well, at least I'm not wearing anything nice.
Guillaume is still wearing the quote unquote plain outfit that Sylvie reluctantly made, but now it's got these tears out of it from where he tried to make his own torch, and like all these like rips from where his elbows like elongated out and like tore the sleeves.
So
Okay.
it sounds like we're gonna go snooping in some sewers.
Like you do. I guess it's probably better now than after Mardival, because whew, you don't want to go down there after that. Hmm. Okay. So, is there anything that you want to do before you find the entrance? Are you gonna like stake out
What
the
if-
entrance? And
I was
wait
just gonna
for
I was
someone
just
else
gonna
to-
suggest, what if instead of going down right away, maybe Guillaume, you could transform into a rat and hang out in a tree and just watch the entrance for a few hours and see what kind of activity it gets. And then that way, when you're in rat form, according to the saint, you will be able to sniff them out, hopefully, and be able to tell that they are what they are and know we're in the right space.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I can give it a try. And he'll kind of look around for a spot. Like, okay, well, I don't want to just change out here in the middle of. I'm gonna go to an alley. One of you should probably come with me so you can put me in the tree. I'm not sure how good I'll be. at
All right,
climbing.
I'm coming with you. I'll put you in the tree.
All right, thank you. If you could just turn your back when I actually do that.
I've seen it
Transition.
before.
Oh, that's cockeyed. Hey, that's another nat 20 for my rat's formation.
All right. Does it look any different this time, Guillaume? Now that you have it under control, it seems like.
Now that he's feeling a little more comfortable with it, and he's not wearing an illusion at the moment. It's a much more just like his body just sort of shrinks down as the fur grows and just starts to like sprout out, but it's a very quick process of just like becoming tiny almost immediately, and it's just kind of trying to like animation, like, you know, you watch like a cartoon of someone like shrinking where it's that like do and it just kind of shrinks down, and he'll like run up Lox's leg.
What was that old book series that had those covers? Was it Animorphs?
Animorphs.
Perfect.
Never forget.
I'm not turning into a hawk. Or a falcon or whatever that was. Yeah, so I will allow myself to be placed in a tree and just kind of hang out, avoiding any birds of prey, trying to keep myself hidden from the sky as well as the ground.
Okay, excellent. So as Guillaume is kind of hanging here for a while, keeping an eye on this entrance, what are the other four of you doing?
I would, before we go down in there, I would like to kind of maybe procure a better weapon, maybe one laced with silver or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially here in Al Hidalgo, and again, this is kind of where silver comes out of the mountains in the west and is kind of processed, specifically, you know, minted into coin. But there's definitely a lot of other silversmiths and things here. So I think of all places, this would probably be one of the easiest places to have a weapon silvered, or to buy a silvered weapon. Either way. I don't know if there is typically a cost associated with it. I know there was in 3rd edition, but I don't know that there is in 5th edition. So we'll say call it, let's call it 100 gold pieces to have it done to an existing weapon.
I will make my existing rapier and a dagger silvered.
Oh, I just found it in D&D Beyond. You can silver
really?
a single weapon or 10 pieces of ammunition for 100 gold.
Ha!
Well done, sir. Well done.
I knew it all along. all
Would-
along.
Would carrying a silvered weapon affect me if I the way I've been imagining it right now? I have like a dagger cane. Like my cane has like a concealed dagger, and it's like the orb is kind of the butt of the dagger.
Right.
But yeah, would carrying a silvered weapon be an issue for me?
So as long as you're not actually contacting the silver itself, you're fine. So like if the handle is made of something else, and like, when you have it against the side of your body or whatever, it is sheathed in something that is not silver, you would be fine.
Okay, then yeah, I will get I'll give like specific instructions as they head off to do these things to just have them silver like the tip of my dagger, like the last like half of it, so that I can, for stabbing and slashing, but not like if I accidentally like grab too far or something.
Okay. Some silvered weapons, it sounds like.
If anybody else needs a silvered weapon and can't afford it, Guillaume will uncharacteristically generously offer to silver someone's weapons if the reason they're not doing it is money.
I mean, I'll definitely get my rapier silvered. Absolutely.
On Guillaume's time?
Yeah, of course. If Guillaume's offering. Actually, my rapier and my dagger. I mean, if he's offering.
I got some teeth.
All right, I'm down to 78 gold.
Excuse me.
Down from 378, which I was able to loot from my dad's house as I left.
Well, is a dagger still the full 100? Would a dagger still cost the full 100?
Probably not. It would probably be like 50 to do a dagger.
Okay, I'll pay for my own dagger, Guillaume. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So then I get 50 back for my dagger too. All right. So,
Yeah.
all right, I'm doing all right then. I got some money.
That's called inheritance.
Let's see, I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I have one potion of healing on me. Should we grab a couple more healing potions, you think, for everybody?
Oh, who needs those?
Afoof.
Yeah, healing potions would probably be good.
Okay.
I have one left. Ooh, maybe some alchemist fire too. That would be a really quick way to deal with a lot of rats very quickly.
I have one potion of that.
I have one as well.
Guillaume
I
has
have 7.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
so we're
my
good.
goodness.
We'll just pass those
Okay.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give everybody gets a bottle of alchemist fire.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool.
Nice.
No, I
I'll
have 2.
remove myself.
You have them just like on a bandolier on your little rat body, just like alchemist fire and a little belt with your grenades.
Except when he's a rat and he throws them, it's like those little like explosives that you throw at the ground and they
Little
pop,
caps.
and that's all it is.
Pops.
Yep.
Okay. Potions of healing are 50 if you're interested. It sounds like you're covered for alchemist fire, but those are also 50 if you wanted additional.
I'll
I
get
will
one more
use the
potion
50
healing.
I saved on the silver dagger to buy the potion of healing.
There you go.
Where'd y'all get this money? I'm baroque.
Ha! That's exactly where we're at.
I will buy.
Do we have party pool money at all?
We haven't really
I think we just have a
earned
couple
any money.
rich. Yeah, we really haven't. I'll buy
Damn.
Locks a health potion.
Oh,
You guys-
thank you. I have one, but I would love to go into this fight with 2 just in case.
Same.
One
You
for
guys
me and one
found-
for
That's where
somebody
I
else.
Y'all did find Luke and his gang's stash in the cobbler shop. I'll pull the list of what that was here, just a second.
I have it right here. No, Shadow and Starlight. Okay, we got 4 potions of healing, which is why we all had one. We got 9 alchemist fire, so we must have given them all to Guillaume and used 2. We got a blue jelly bottle and a blue liquid. We got 13 opals, and moonstones worth
Mhm.
50 gold each. And then
114
we-
gold pieces.
Yep.
And 1,076 copper.
Right. How many copper and a gold?
10. No, 100.
100. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
you had the 2 vials that are as of yet unidentified. And then there's also the slippers that Sylvie has that I think are unidentified. No, did you identify those?
Yeah. No, she got mind
Oh, that's
minded
right.
and then hid
That's
them.
right. Yep. I think that's all the outstanding like magic item type stuff as
How
of right
many
now.
how many opals and moonstones did we find? It was 13, right?
It was 13 moonstones.
13 moonstones. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, each one of them is worth 50.
And then why did I write opals on here? Did we find opals too?
I kind of described them as being kind of opalescent.
Oh, that's
but it's
probably
just,
why.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I guess like to sell those things and get what we can for them.
Matt with the Raffy reference. Yeah. Again, big city, definitely easy to exchange as many of those as you'd like.
Can I attempt to persuade the person to give me more than the 50 gold per stone?
We can certainly try. Give me a persuasion roll.
I will do that. Okay. So that would be a 19. Yeah, 19.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I rolled an 8. So yes. Let's see. Your haggling managed to get you up to 70 gold apiece.
Oh, damn. Okay, cool. Great. Awesome. That's wonderful. Okay. And then I guess we could ask, Sylvie, can you identify the jelly liquids and stuff? Can you do that for us?
Yeah, Sylvie will in that time take those and try and see what they are.
Okay.
Maybe.
We have a glass rapier too.
Yeah.
Yeah. From
Chimeran has it.
when we fought that shard.
Oh
golem.
my god, a lot has happened over the last year, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
When you say there are pieces of it hovering around the blade, you mean like pieces of glass? Or
Yeah, if I'm remembering right from the picture. Hang on a second here. It is called the Edge of Light, right?
oh
Yeah, the Edge of Light.
yeah.
Oh no, there aren't pieces floating. That might have been the actual stained glass golem itself. But yeah, it's a +1 to attack and damage. And it scores a critical hit on a 19 or a 20. So this rapier grants a +1 to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon, and it scores a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20. It also glows as if sunlight shone through its multicolored glass blade, giving off dim light in a 30-foot radius. In addition, once per day, if the wielder has this weapon drawn, they may use their reaction when targeted by a spell that targets only them. If they do so, they may roll a dexterity saving throw at advantage in place of whatever saving throw that spell normally calls for. On a success, the spell has no effect on the wielder and targets the caster instead.
Oh my goodness.
I'm guessing that's not silverable.
No,
No.
I silvered my other rapier, but
Yeah.
But that's
It's made
okay
of,
because
like,
it's magical.
lead
So
and glass, but it is magical. Yeah.
yeah.
awesome. Um,
Okay.
Okay, so we actually have 1,034 team gold after selling the stones. So
Hey, Sylvie's buying a healing potion.
do
Okay.
you want me to subtract it from the total here?
Yes.
From the team? Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. Yep.
Sylvie has everything invested in her shop.
I
Okay.
literally thought that you were going to say Sylvie is going to take the time to invest in another shop.
Yes.
And then you said healing potion. I was like, oh, wait a second.
Oh, I have
Are there? Go for it.
I have other stuff here too. I have 210 was stolen from Lavinia's. And then Locks won 707 in gambling at my place.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you're loaded, Locks.
I don't have to work another day in my life. I'm so rich.
Yep.
Fuck this. I'm leaving the city. I have so much money.
Man, I take good notes. Yeah.
Are there other potions we might be able to buy, or like spell scrolls or anything? Are those for sale in Gerdes?
In El Hidalgo? Yeah, absolutely.
Al Hidalgo.
Yeah, it's again,
Because,
it's not going to be the kind of place where you can like walk in and say, "Give me 3 of that one and 2 of that one."
Sure,
But
sure.
it's definitely the kind of place where like you might be able to walk into a shop and there's like a barrel that has a bunch of scrolls in it, and you can rifle through, and whatever's in there is in there.
Okay, can we say that we're doing all the shopping right before my
course
transformation
we
into the
can.
tree?
Yes.
Because I would definitely like to see what is available and what I'd be able to purchase. If we have this much money, it would make sense for us to be a little prepared before going into a dangerous
Certainly.
situation with some serious firepower.
Okay. So you're looking for 3rd level or lower, probably?
Yeah, 3rd level or lower, or potions. Any kind of potions that are interesting.
Shotguns. Okay.
Wands.
The you were also trying to ID the ones that you had. What session was that you got that stuff? 9? Is that right? Yep. Okay. So anybody who's trying to decipher what these potions are, the 2 vials that you have, can make me an Arcana roll. There's a blue jelly and then a blue-green liquid. Just tell me which roll you're applying to which vial, if you would.
Okay. So the blue jelly, I got a 17
Okay.
for Arcana.
17. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then for the other one, the blue-green one. Ooh. Well, I got a 8.
An 8.
It's inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I use an inspiration? Wait,
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
I have any? Let me check.
I don't
first.
know.
That's probably a good.
Perhaps.
I have 6. Okay. Now I have 5.
Yeah, it should cap at 4. But if you have that many, then
okay.
you certainly have a full 4.
Okay, I will change that to 3.
Okay.
Yeah. For a reroll, so that's 21.
Okay. So the blue jelly is actually witchbane poison. It is a toxin. I'll look that up in a moment. The blue-green liquid is a potion of water breathing.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
We know of
Okay.
another entrance where you go in through the water. Just
Mhm.
saying.
Very convenient, yes.
Let's see. Poisons. Okay. Witchbane poison is what it was, right?
Witchbane?
I think. Okay, yeah.
No, you said it was a
Wait,
kill
which-
every rat poison.
which
is what
bane
you
again?
said.
That's
Which
the
bane
one.
is that?
That Bane?
Uh, okay. A creation that seems to have been specifically devised just to hamper spellcasters. This poison is often reviled and feared by the magically enlightened. The blue jelly is often smeared upon blades wielded by assassins seeking to end the life of a wizard or a sorcerer. It is quite easily identified by those familiar with the effects. So that may be why you might have come across this before. So yeah, that's a pretty high market value. It is, typically legal, but spellcasters don't like it.
So it has a particularly strong effect on them.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, yes. I'm gonna try to put this in non-game terms. Let me see. So maybe you know somebody who was affected by this or something. A spellcaster that you've known at some point. It has the tendency of causing spellcasters to lose the ability to cast as much magic in a day.
It's like a mana drain.
Basically, yeah. Putting it in game terms, it's they stand to lose spell slots.
If you, as soon as you tell the party about this, Guillaume said, "Oh yes, most second-year alchemy students end up coming down with witchbane fever for at least 2 weeks. It's a pretty common thing to happen. They don't teach that spell right away for obvious, or that potion right away for obvious reasons."
Yeah, you can almost see as soon as like Sylvie kind of like realizes what it is, like she almost holds it like a lot more gingerly than she previously was, and puts it into a pack.
All right. Now, as far as other spells and potions, there's got to be a roll chart in the DMG. Surely. Let's see. He works hard for the money. He works hard for the money. Let's see.
All three heads on the bottom just bobbing back and forth.
I was going.
Random dungeons. That's not what I need.
I'm finding my dress for the party.
Oh yeah. From our Vault. That'll be interesting.
I'm assuming that Guillaume, like months ago, put in an order with Sylvie for the most like loud, obnoxious, peacocky clothing you can imagine.
Oh, now you're not going to be able to wear it.
The fanciest.
I'm going to wear a
Speedos.
mask. I'm going. I'm going.
Would Guillaume try to get up on stage and actually become the king?
Ooh.
Well, of course he would.
Yeah. This is a question.
Okay, there's mixing
A center
potions.
stage.
Oh,
Will
mishaps.
Guillaume take it?
I don't know. He's so shy.
It's true. Oh man, where is the? Well, there's like magic item charts, but I don't see like a scroll generating chart or anything. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for? You can just handle it on like a percentage basis or something. Are you just looking for anything that might be available?
I was gonna see what was available and like try to form some crazy plans based around what's available.
Okay.
Uh,
So then do this. Roll me 2d4.
Okay. That's a 4 overall.
Okay, so there's going to be 4 total available that you can find.
I found a cool online generator, Jeremy. It's like
Okay.
a spell scroll generator, and you put in the levels. So you're doing like levels 1 to 3, or we could
Okay,
just do all level
perfect.
3s or whatever, and then you hit
Yeah,
generate scroll.
Okay, so then do this. Roll me a d4, Austin.
Okay. That's a 2 again. God, this is die weighted.
Okay, so it'll be a first level spell. If you could hit the generation on a first level spell, can you?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Guiding bolt.
There you go.
Can a wizard cast that, or do you use that restriction around spell scrolls being from your? Because I think that's a cleric.
Yeah, it is a clerical one typically, but for me, reading from a scroll is a different kind of beast. Like
That's how I feel about it too.
Yeah, that's how you access magic that you can't normally learn, in my opinion. So yeah, from a scroll, it's fine.
I would absolutely take that.
Okay.
How much are the first level spells scrolls?
Oh fuck.
It's coming out of party gold, so whatever.
I don't know how much that stuff usually costs. Is it 10 times spell level? Is that the way that it's done?
I have a thing that is. I have all these resources because I was running.
Hey,
I have one that's called Sane. It's called Sane Magical Prices. It's a PDF that I use, and first level spell scroll is listed as 60 gold on here.
Okay, that'll work. That's fine with me.
Cool.
Okay.
For guiding bolt,
remove that from the
Yep.
party gold, and I will add that to my sheet.
Yep. Do you want me to roll any more of these?
Yeah, another D4,
Okay.
Austin.
Okay.
We'll determine what level it is.
That's a 1.
Okay, so a cantrip. Will it generate cantrip scrolls? Is that a thing?
It will.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Ray of Frost.
There you go.
This one that I got.
I mean, we should. Yeah, I feel like we should probably buy all of them. It would never hurt to have more magic on our side.
Yep.
Okay.
10 gold for those is on this chart here.
Nice.
Okay. All the scrolls for now. But if anyone wants them, just say so, and I'll pass them out.
Okay, another D4.
Okay.
Scroll number 3.
Next one's a 4.
Okay, so a third level spell.
Awesome.
This could get expensive.
Blink.
Prices aren't bad, actually. Blink. Okay.
Yep. For
Is Blink third level? Wow.
Yep. Third level transmutation.
Must be more powerful than I thought.
200. It jumps up 2 for 3 for third level.
That seems really worth it. Like, I don't know how much of these we're going to be using during this fight, but I think having I'm particularly excited that we have guiding bolt when we're going up against vampires. I'm like, I think radiant damage might be great. But yeah, I think you said 200?
200, yeah.
Yeah, I think again, it seems like we just need to build up our arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that all stands to reason because again, your characters just got their asses handed to them on a platter. So it makes perfect sense that they're like, you know what? We need to buff up a bit here.
The last one was a 1 as well.
Okay, so another cantrip then.
Okay. Shocking grasp.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good because it removes reactions.
Okay, so another 10.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Kenya. Take a point of inspiration, please.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Being Johnny on the spot.
I'll send you these links too.
Yeah, please.
As far as potions go, what I was specifically looking for with that was like a potion of fire breath or something that has some sort of a damaging effect that can be used for a period of time after the potion's drunk.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to say absolutely 100% that kind of thing exists, particularly in Al Hidalgo right now, because Mardival is right around the corner, and that's a party trick kind of thing that people will often, quaff one of these and breathe fire kind of up into the sky or what have you. So potions are... It's probably usually like 100 gold pieces or so. So we'll call it 75.
Okay, I think we should get like 3 of them. Or maybe 4. Does that sound good to you guys? Or should we go with 4? 4 would be what, 300? Let's go with 4. That's 300 gold. Does anybody else want to carry one of those with them?
Sorry, what kind of potion is it?
Fire
breathing.
Fire breath. Okay, that's what I thought. I think I'm good. I've got my 2 alchemist fire.
Okay. So I will hold on to 4 fire breath potions.
Cool.
And then I was gonna see about potentially so I think Lox is gonna be the guy at the front. So anything that will make me big or strong or like able to take more damage, anything like that in potion form, Lox would be looking for. And in fact would even just say to shopkeepers like, what would you recommend if I was looking to not die for a long time?
There's probably a couple of raised eyebrows at that question. And, discussion back and forth. They can kind of arrive at maybe kind of what you're looking for. So it sounds like maybe a potion of enlarge, or possibly even a potion of heroism. I think.
I was literally just going to say Vera's going to look for a potion of heroism.
I think heroism is like
that gives you extra HP and bless, right?
It gives you 10 hit points and bless.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that would help. That would be good.
Okay.
I'll get a 6-pack of those and just take all of them.
It's White Claw flavored.
Yeah. No, Mike's hard potion of heroism.
It tastes like a watermelon farted near it. So I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the kind of thing that they're going to have a ton of in stock. What level is heroism? It's decently leveled, isn't it?
Hold on one second. I will check.
The potion of heroism is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's like
the spell heroism is a first level spell.
Interesting. First level spell, but the potion is rare.
Oh, the potion's way stronger. The spell is just 10 hit points that are your spellcasting ability modifier. It doesn't have the bless effect. So it sounds like potion of heroism is like a bigger temp hit point boost and bless. But like concentration free bless.
Okay.
That's like the dope. Conan's Last Stand potion. That's I want that.
There you go. So let me pop open the DMG again. Rare, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's done differently than magic items, I think.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if there's anything on this chart about potion levels. Hold on. Actually, they're all listed here. Potion of heroism on this same magical items thing, if you like it, is 180.
Okay, great.
If people are okay with that, I'll take 180 of my winnings, my card winnings, and get a potion of heroism.
Honestly, if they have 2, I would say it'd be worth it.
Yeah. Somebody roll a D4 -1.
Oh, can I do it?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm using my new dice tonight. They're glow in the dark.
Nice.
Ooh, 4. I rolled a 4.
Okay.
I don't know if that's good or not.
Stock. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll take 2. So that's 360 gold total. Yeah. Okay. If folks are cool with that.
Seems very worth it.
That's fine. Yeah, take it.
I'm not good with money. How is that all of our money? I don't know how much we've already
I
spent.
think we've only spent like 700 or so, and we have like 1,700. I think we're still doing okay. I think
Okay,
We didn't have 1,700. We had 1,034.
Oh, that was including his 700.
His 700 is
winning.
separate that he's tracking. Yeah, I've been minusing so far from ours. We've got the guy.
Oh, add my gold to the pot. That's fine. The 700. Add it to the pool for the party.
Okay, so then you just spent how much on 2 of them then?
360, Xbox 360. So
340 goes in.
yeah, 340 will go in. We'll go into the party pot. Party pot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I didn't know we were gonna have a shopping episode. This is exciting.
I know.
Information and shopping, and I love it. Like questions and shopping.
Okay, and then how much were the fire breathing potions that you could just got, Guillaume? Didn't you buy fire breath ones?
Yeah, there was 300 overall.
75?
Okay.
75 a piece. We bought 4 of them.
Okay, so we in total, including Lox's stuff, we had 1,807. And then we did 50 for Sylvie's healing potion, 60 for guiding bolt, 10 for ray of frost, 200 for the blink potion, 10 for shocking grasp. We bought 2 of the 3 heroism potions for 360, and we just spent 300 on the fire breath. So let me do a quick math thing here and see where we're at dollar wise. Give me 1 second.
Sure thing. This is amazing. So, real question time. What is each of your characters getting at the food court?
I'm going. If there's a wok, like a Chinese wok, I'm hitting that up. There's nothing better than mall food court Chinese food.
Yep. I don't know if you guys have it there. Thai Express, my favorite mall food ever.
Oh, we don't, but if it's mall food court Thai food, that sounds amazing.
Oh, it's so good. They like make it in a wok and it comes in a little box. It's so good.
Well, now I want that.
Who's getting the excessively long corn dog?
I think
I'm just
Vera,
going to Auntie Anne's and getting a pretzel.
Vera's actually gonna walk down the street about a block and she's gonna go hit the really good hole in the wall mom and pop owned taco truck and get some street
There you go.
tacos. Get some Gerdessi street tacos, like 3 of them, really like with some nice hot sauce on it.
You
Yep.
guys don't even know how in this this like market, but Guillaume comes back with like a caviar and cheese plate that's like soft cheeses, and it's got like a little like disposable like wooden knife to like spread things on the toast.
Caviar charcuterie.
So I am gonna ask for, hold on a second. Okay, so we have 817 gold left, right? So yeah. Oh, never mind. I can't. It's too much money.
Oh, just while we are shopping, I just need to say, Guillaume is going to buy some milk and honey because I promised that to my fey creature, and I do not want to not have it when I gave my word on that. So he's going to just purchase a little vial, a little bottle of milk and a little jar of honey.
Perfect.
And tuck those away in his.
Fantastic.
I'm trying to see what other kind of things. I don't know. Vera desperately needs armor somehow or something. Like,
Yeah, so does Sylvie. Kind of. Sylvie has studded leather, so.
yes, Vera can only wear light leather or light armor, so she has she's in desperate need of. My AC is a 13. If something sneezes at me, I get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine's a 12. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Are y'all
My
proficient with
recommendation-
shields? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My recommendation is just don't get hit.
Says the
Well.
rogue.
Yeah.
Just use evasion.
I'm proficient in heavy, medium, and light armor. Why am I running around in leather?
Sylvie becomes a tank. She's got this
Yeah,
like
what the heck?
metal dress. It's like this fabulous piece of art, but it's like
That's so awesome, though, that you didn't realize it until after the episode where we absolutely got devastated and almost died. So now it's just this in between now and Mardi Gras. Freaking Sylvie is just in there, like, making this crazy,
Training
Yeah.
montage.
she's like
Yeah.
sewing metal strips into
Yeah.
her dress.
she's like, forget fabric. I'm going to put on metal. Yes.
As she's
Iron
taking
is the new satin,
pre-workout.
darlings.
She's like forging something, and we pan out, and it's like a hoop skirt.
So Sylvie would like
Perfect.
to actually, for once, buy some armor if she can.
Yeah,
if we have
absolutely.
that.
What are you eyeballing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that's far ahead. Like
Is it up through
medium
medium?
armor. Yeah, would be fantastic.
Do you have a dex modifier that you're trying to maintain?
No, I have a modifier of 0.
Okay. So the best that you could get would be half plate.
Mm-hmm.
It's 750 though.
Mm.
The one next down from that is breastplate for 400. That gives you a 14 plus your dex modifier.
So Sylvie's got this corset completely made of metal now. That's what I envision.
Even a chain shirt would be better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
much-
13 plus dex, and that's 50.
50.
Mhm.
And how much do we have? Sorry, I need to ask again.
We have 817.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the breastplate do?
14
Gets
plus
me up to
dex.
14.
Okay, so this will be a one point difference for 350 gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but 1 point is
But
in
it's-
D&D,
I
a point matters.
That's the
That-
thing. I'm like, I
huge.
kind of don't care. I would rather have us like live than have money. Like, we'll rob Lavinia's house for real once she's dead.
Rob it. We'll just take it over.
Living it.
I mean, honestly, and if she's getting upgraded armor, Vera would be like, hey, can I see that studded leather armor you got over there? Because that will up me from a 13 to a 14. So
You have your cast offs.
exactly.
Perfect.
Like,
Sure.
Excellent.
Hey,
She'll
hand me
make it.
down magic items. That's old school
Yeah.
D&D.
so are we getting her a breastplate then? So she gets the scale mail is only 50 gold and is 14 plus dex mod max 2 also. The only
Mhm.
difference
Oh.
is that scale mail gives you disadvantage on stealth. So,
Right.
but if you don't care about the stealth thing, then
That is
it's
true.
50 gold for 14 plus 2. So
That's
We're a
true.
party that
And-
likes to be seen.
Yeah. I also get advantage on stealth usually with my.
okay, so we don't actually have to spend
Artificer's.
400. We could just do
No.
scale mail, and then
Yeah.
you just construct some awesome badass scale mail in your
Love it.
yeah.
Okay.
Sylvie's
Okay.
gonna change.
So I'll minus 50 for the scale mail for you.
Perfect.
Minus 50 scale mail. I'm just keeping track. So in the future, when we're like, what the hell do we spend our money on? I know exactly what we spent it on.
I'm sorry to keep adding to this and being
No,
the
you're
loud
fine.
one. Could we, not for me because it's silver, but could we potentially find any of those rings that were being proliferated, the like Lavinia's silver strike rings?
Yeah, they're not difficult to come across at all.
Because those like do a decent little attack, right? Like they might be good for the non-were-rat members of our party to defend themselves against were-rats
They
if they're
are
not too expensive.
Ring of the Duelist. This ring only has one charge. Anyone wearing this ring may use an action to expend this charge to cast the Eldritch Blast spell at first level with an attack roll of dexterity plus proficiency bonus. In addition to this attack dealing force damage, It also counts as a silvered weapon for purposes of overcoming resistances and immunities. At the dawn of each day, this ring recharges or regains its charge on a result of 4 to 6 on the roll of a d6.
So those aren't great, and like you got your silver weapons would definitely be better, but they're good for range. We could take down someone at range if there's someone that's out of our
I agree. Yeah.
reach. So like I don't know how much are those?
I'm looking it up now. I think they were going for like 100. I'm trying to remember what session I kind of had that written down with.
My brain said 50, but that might be me, some wishful thinking.
Maybe.
It was
early on.
It was pretty. It was the first time we went down to the meet the saint.
Oh.
Like the 4th or 5th session, I want to
Yeah,
say.
the first
because it was
time
the
we
one I
met
wasn't there
Locks.
for.
Not Locke, sorry. First time we met Luke.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be. Yep, 100 gold pieces on the street. Almost every jewelry or silver merchant has several of them.
Did we keep the one that we found?
You had it for a time at least. I don't remember if you still have it or not. We'll say yes. I don't know who you would have given it to, or what you would have done with it.
Yeah, maybe we don't need any of those for 100. I don't know. That seems expensive for a single shot, low damage.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be the aimed at the demographic for people who don't usually have access to spellcasting.
Yeah.
So instead of silvering my rapier, can I get a vicious rapier instead? Now it costs 350, so if you guys care, then I won't spend that much. It's a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, and then if you crit on it, you give an extra 7 damage on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do the silver one. I was really hoping to do like Ring of Protection or something like that, but I think they're all too expensive.
Yeah. As far as the weapon damage goes, you would know, having fought these things before, that they ignored anything that wasn't silvered, unless it was magical, of course.
Right, and vicious is magical, so that's why.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Vicious rapier would be magical, but I'm also not really supposed to be in melee that much, so I'll just breathe fire and throw fire bombs at people and then get bless. Inspiration. Okay, we have 767 gold left. So what other things are you guys wanting to look at?
I think I'm good. So, but whatever else anyone else needs, I think I've got everything I do.
Okay. And we can always think before next game and stuff. We've got the money to spend, so because I highly doubt we're going to get into any combat here in the next little bit because it's getting late. So
okay.
Welcome to our shopping session.
All right. So if everyone is good to go, I know what we could probably touch on. At some point, did the list of names the Shadows in Martyr did that end up in Vera's hand, or did Vera end up looking it over at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she would have absolutely looked at it.
Okay. Vera, you also recognize one of the names on this list. Aside from the name De la Apozuelo, you recognize the name of Corone, and that is because you have an Annabelle Corone who works for you at the Castillo. She's from a different land. She's from Vicaril, and she is tall for a woman. She has blonde hair and crystal blue eyes. And you've recently had a little bit of trouble with her wanting to work as of late.
She hasn't been wanting to work as in she just doesn't want to, or is there something else going on with her, or
She is currently with child.
yep. I thought that's who that was when you said that, because you hadn't told me before. I thought that was her.
Wait, Annabelle Carone is with child
Mm-hmm.
as well as that other woman that's with child? What's her
Is
name?
she? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the guy's wife.
Iskanda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know a lot
Escanada de la Apozuelo. Yeah, the one who came to the dress fitting.
Right.
She's half elf. She
How-
has
How far along is Annabelle?
probably about 4 or 5 months, give or take.
Okay, so is she in the same time frame as the other woman, like with the whole being pregnant during the bad ceremony, the celibacy thing, or?
The timing on that definitely could line up.
That's what I was
Uh-huh.
thinking. Oh, Vera. Whew. You know,
Mhm. Yes, dear.
no, it's just
Not
you
called
know,
the House
you know
of Good
women.
Repute.
Yeah.
People fuck, they get pregnant. It happens.
Wait, is that how that works?
Oh, Guillaume.
You know, I was gonna tell you about all of that, Guillaume, but then you turned into a rat and it just got put on the back burner a bit.
I mean, that
Okay.
brings up a question now. If you're no, never mind. Don't even want to think that thought. Gone.
I'm joking. Good Lord. You people think so little of me.
Do we really?
Kind of. Seems so.
So okay, so she's with child, and I'm gonna start asking the obvious questions. Do we know who the father is? Does she have an idea of who it is? Or being, one of my staff members that could be one of several and not really sure.
Well, during Amigazada, celibacy is kind of the societal norm. So it's definitely a slower time for the brothel. But even with that being the case, there's apparently enough customers, at least, to keep the doors open. And likewise, according to what I've rolled, there are enough that she's not certain. It could be any number of, half a dozen or so.
Does I want to say I recognize the surname you said, correct? Because that's all it is a list of surnames.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Does the surname hold any significance? Does it sound like a noble from somewhere else, or have I been harboring some noble's daughter who ran away to become a whore because she was mad at dad, kind of a thing? Like,
it doesn't necessarily sound like, you know, a nobility's name.
Okay.
But, you know, most of the
What
nobles
if-
tend to have like a string of names. But it's possible.
What if all these people on this list happen to be or have wives who are pregnant right now? Just seems odd that 2 out of the, was it how many? 7 on the list? 9 on the list?
Yeah, there's 9 total.
Especially at a
Certainly
time
seems
when
like
there
a-
shouldn't have been, there's not as many children being conceived.
Quick question. Would it have been possible? Because I know we were going to look, maybe try and find out who some of these people were, because we didn't know any of them except for the one that
Right.
Vera knew. Would it be possible, like, as we're doing our shopping, to try and bring up a name or two subtly? Like, as Sylvie's getting fitted for her scale mill, just maybe bring up a name or two.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get a investigation or history roll.
Okay. Do investigation. It's a 6.
6. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You try to work in as many of these names as you can in the conversation, and the person fitting you for your armor either doesn't seem interested in what you're fishing for, or just genuinely doesn't know that many people, at least not by the names that you're listing. It becomes very apparent that they're either not very well connected or not very interested.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm ratting up in a tree,
Ratting up in a tree. All right.
posting up and watching the entrance.
So you're up there for some time, Guillaume, and you see not much for the first hour and a half. There's no activity whatsoever, but at some point your vigilance ends up paying off. At one point there's a small little kind of ruckus that breaks out just down the street from where you're watching. It looks like one of those shell games had been set up, and it looks like somebody basically has accused the person running this con of cheating, and there's a little bit of a fight that breaks out, a duel, and it seems like that might have been somewhat orchestrated, because the moment that everybody's attention kind of shifts to focus on that, you see a gnome approaching this spot on the wall that you have been watching. And he could certainly be described as rakish. He has a wide-brimmed hat with colorful feathers sticking out of both sides of the brim. He has a very long mustache that kind of is waxed and curls up on either side and sticks out almost as wide as the brim of his hat. He has a ruffled shirt, and his clothes are immaculate. And if Guillaume walks with a swagger, then this guy walks with a swagger with capital letters. He walks up to the wall and kind of leans against it, almost kind of halfway pretending like he's paying attention to this duel down the street, kind of picking at his teeth. And when everybody seems sufficiently distracted, he leans over and presses one of the bricks in the wall, and you watch as the familiar panel in the wall and the bricks kind of shifts and swings open. Let's see if I can get the picture of the wall swings open to reveal an archway, decorative, beyond, and he slips inside through the archway, and the bricks slowly slide closed behind him.
Guillaume would like to he'll try to like start scurrying down the tree and like behind the tree, hoping that people are still kind of paying attention to this commotion. Will attempt to shift back into his human form so that he can tell everyone what he just saw. Oh my god, I'm on fire with the 20s for shifting.
You roll another 20?
I found my zen. Like,
Holy
Guillaume
crap.
is just like in the rat zone. He just like, it's
Okay.
like literally he like
Yeah.
jumps off the tree and transforms in midair, and his feet growing out of the rat like reach the ground, and he's just standing ready. And to all of his companions, I'm guessing they're kind of out of sight a little bit.
Probably, yeah.
Like he's not even gonna run all the way. He's gonna get like just to the point where he can see them, and he's gonna cast a message over to them and say, "I just saw him. He went in the door right now. Should we follow?"
Do we do this
We try to jump him.
before he
It'd
gets
be
to
a
the
hell of a lot
nest?
easier
Let's
than
do
doing it
this.
at the nest.
Let's go.
Okay.
So Guillaume is already like on his way to the wall, getting ready to like press the brick.
Perfect. I think that's probably where we're going to stop for the night.
This is definitely a trap, right?
Short-sighted decisions.
We're about to get
quick
jumped.
decisions always go really well for us. So
So, Austin, I think unless for some reason you want to keep rolling the saving throws, I think Guillaume has this down. I mean, 320s in a row. That
Okay,
says
yes.
control to me.
awesome. Thank you.
so,
I'm
yep.
super excited about like it's really like I can't believe that kept happening. Like that was these dice are on fire tonight.
Yeah. Again, like to me, that's the kind of thing that tells me what I need to understand as far as the story goes. Like that's
Well,
definitive proof that he's got this.
I've never had dice play along with the narrative I wanted so well, where like the shift into the rat was a 20, the shift out of the rat was like an 8, and I couldn't do it, which is what I was like praying for. I was like, yes, I want him to get stuck like deeper. and then it like worked out perfectly. I love it.
Good. I'm really happy to hear that. It's an interesting development. It's just, I mean, obviously when I kind of drew up were-rats, it was a possibility that was on the table, but I didn't know who. I didn't know if, when. So I've been really happy with how that's developed. So I'm glad that you are too. Okay. So next time, it sounds like we might have a fight again. Perhaps with Nicodemus Janer. Excellent. And then I think also next session. Okay, we might have to have one more session. Next session might still be before the onset of Mardival. So we might be looking at like ending next session maybe with the wedding, which is going to take place on the eve of the beginning of Mardival. So cool. Yeah, this was great. It was nice to kind of have a down episode after episode or what happened with the last episode.
After all the death and mayhem.
It's nice to have those kind of back and forth. So yeah, I'm going to pass things back over to my players so that they can give any parting words that they would like, touch on anything on the way out, and then we're going to call it an evening. So we'll start with Karen.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching with us and watching in the future. We'll still enjoy it then. I love this game. I'm so glad to be back here. It felt like it's been such a long time since the last time we played, and so this was just so good to jump back into this. I can't wait for our next session. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I'm loving the story so far. I'm loving this whole thing with Guillaume and the rats. Like, this is just cool. So I'm loving it. I'm going to pass it on to my rat man, Austin.
Yeah, this has just been a blast. I mean, last time I really thought that we were in real danger. I had a whole bit. I was gonna say I really felt like we were like a candle in the wind, but this time we were just a rocket, man. And this time I'm still standing better than I ever did. Feeling like a true survivor. But I guess what I really want to say is this was a blast. I think it was really great to have a session where we could it made so much sense that we were just okay, asking questions and outfitting ourselves to murder things. That was this, we went into two situations now, maybe three, without enough information and ended up getting our shit rocked and without the proper gear. And so it feels a lot better to be okay, we kind of know what we're going after, and we've kind of gotten arm for bear or rat. So I'm super psyched to see where this goes. And I'll pass it over to Em.
Yeah, my favorite part is the getting ready montage where people are ready. It feels very cinematic, beaten down the first time and then coming back. Feels very cinematic and very almost a little different from normal D&D, how it works. Usually people just bang their head against a wall repeatedly until it works or they die. So loving that we're thinking and using our brains to get ready. So I'm very excited. This was great. A lot of my streams are on hiatus until January. So see you all in January. And I'll pass it on to Matt.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt. This game was so fun. There was no combat. There was hardly any rolls even. Well, aside from just rolling to change into a rat and back, and then rolling to find potions and whatnot. But I had so much fun just prepping for battle. This is one of my favorite parts of D&D is way overthinking a situation, just being how do we just roll over these guys? And tonight felt like that, the suiting up montage where it's get armor and potions, and we got all our silvered weapons and stuff, and we're just let's go kill this guy we've never met before. Let's just go end his life. And I'm really excited for that. So thanks as always to Jeremy for having me, and to the amazing players for just being so fun to play with. I can't believe we've been doing this for a year. That seems really nuts to me, actually. So we'll see y'all again in January, and I'm going to pass it off to Kenya.
Yeah, I second everything they said. And the montage, I love the idea of Sylvie getting fitted for this new armor that she's getting. And while she's doing that, Vera's kind of sitting over there holding up her armor, holding it up to her. And she must I'm gonna kind of take this. And, it just, a lot of fun. Rat Guillaume is fun. I was really excited you got trapped as a rat too. I was happy that happened. I was please let him roll bad. Please let him roll bad. And then you did, and it made me happy. So thank you. 1 year, and we're going to go kill a gnome. I would like to call out too that Jason in the chat did say like a gnome halfway through the game, and that killed me. That was fun. But anyways, great times as always. The just always such a good game. So much fun. I cannot wait till the next one. And we have like 800 gold left, guys. So if we need anything, just let me know.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's crazy to think that a year has already come and gone with these characters and kind of with this unfolding story. But like I said, I'm super duper excited, kind of like that we've hit kind of a new plateau in the story arc of kind of the campaign, and for a lot of these characters, they've also kind of hit some major beats in their own personal arcs, and it's all kind of happened roughly around the same time, which feels really good as a narrative. And I'm really excited to continue to have the chance to explore their own personal arcs along with kind of what I have planned, and seeing how that's going to continue to weave together and interconnect. That's always such a joy to do as a dungeon master, especially with such rich, well realized characters. It's so much going on, and I can't wait to have the chance to keep dropping bombs on y'all. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. But until next time, there is a possibility we may not play in December. We're still kind of in discussion about that and seeing what might or might not work, but it is a very real possibility. The holidays are crazy for many of us, and just kind of the way it goes. But if we do, then we will certainly do our best to reconvene in January and play fourth Wednesday of the month. So looking forward to whatever it is that we have the chance to sit back down at the table again together. So thank all of you very, very much for being just honestly incredible human beings, first and foremost, but also just wonderful players to have the chance to play and to run a game for. It is honestly, sincerely my pleasure to have the chance to run for all of you. So thank you. For anybody who may be tuning in this evening or watching at some point down the road, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, it makes me very happy that there are people out there who enjoy watching us goof off for several hours. It makes my heart happy. So, what else? I think that's about it. So, remember, kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind. So, why not do it? It makes the world a better place, and we certainly need the fucking help right now. So, but without anything else, I think we're going to call it an evening. So until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.